Hey guys, we're gonna be waiting as usual, starting soon obviously, for 6 to come around. Just waiting for everyone to join as usual. Does it seem like my mic is lower? Okay, it seemed like it was too quiet. I think I'm just whispering too much. I'm gonna leave it, what, 2 minutes, so bit faster than usual. Obviously doing the newest Rotten Mango video today. I'm wondering where this is gonna go, because obviously the title makes it seem like the parents did something, like, and they're lying, but obviously we have to see. Everything seems good. The internet is doing fine. One minute left. Oh yeah, I forgot to do the normal stuff that I do. Let's see if I can do that real quick. We gotta put the sunflower and penguin in chat. We gotta set the goal. Okay, there we go. And it is 6. Hey guys, what's up? We're back with some more reactions after dark, and we are of course going to be watching Mom Claims Mystery Man said hola before knocking her out and stealing baby, but no one saw a baby? I thought it was going to say no one saw a man, but no, it says no one saw a baby. Because that implies that a man did knock her out and steal the baby? Or not steal the baby, but a man did knock her out? Question mark. But there was no baby to be stolen? What if it's... Because you can see on the thumbnail that there's a man and a woman, so it's for the parents. Husband pretends to be stranger, knocks the wife out, but it's all part of their plan together. Like they're doing this together because they got rid of their child somehow. At some earlier point, I was like, okay, we got to come up with some sort of scheme as to why the child's missing, right? So it's like, okay, husband, you're gonna have to do this and like pretend you're some sort of, I don't know, crazed attacker, I don't know, and then we'll say that you stole the child, and then that's all I could get off of like that title. That's where I'm at right now. But I'm finally doing Rotten Mango again, though I guess it hasn't actually been that long, because the last video was the North Korean one, which was not that long ago. But yeah, we can just get straight into it. I don't think I have anything else to say right off the bat.
Bada bing, bada boom.
Humans learn how to detect stress in other humans. Obviously, you have people who don't seem to be able to read a human's emotions well or at all, but humans typically, people guesstimate, there's maybe like a 60 to 80% accuracy rate in which one human can detect stress in another human without hearing the very verbal cues of, I am so stressed out right now, which...
I'm guessing this has to do with the thumbnail, because it says no tears right on the thumbnail that she has, so I'm guessing that's what she's referring to.
I don't know how great that is. Sometimes I feel like there are people who can't read the cues at all, but that's just a lot of room for error. However, dogs are able to detect stress levels for humans with a 93.75% success rate. Stress and anxiety are the two emotions that dogs show the highest accuracy in detecting, as well as fear. Which actually is kind of sad because dogs have something called emotional contagion, which means when they smell a human's emotions, they can start catching these emotions.
Really?
Yeah, they can start feeling them. I mean, their ability to smell is exponentially better than a human's, obviously. For example, a human, you get a cup of coffee, you put a teaspoon of sugar in there, you can smell it. A dog?
I don't think I've ever heard that before. The thing about the dogs.
You get 2 Olympic-sized swimming pools, put a teaspoon of sugar in there, they can smell it. If you were to have 752 apples in a giant pile, which I feel like would be as big as the state of Alaska, and you've got 1 rotten apple in there, they would be able to smell it. They can sniff it out, which makes it easy for dogs to hunt babies. When you are a baby, your scent production is pretty uniform and strong. Usually, I thought it would be less because, babies are so tiny, but apparently babies shed skin cells quicker than adults, and as they're walking, crawling, as they're touching surfaces, their skin cells, they shed, and the dogs can smell that trail. Their bland diets of just formula, milk, actually make their scent more consistent. But that doesn't mean that dogs can easily track infants. Every little factor matters, even the quality of the scent. I mean, dogs don't just go around tracking any little human. What they do is they get shown a piece of clothing or a toy, and they use that as the focal point. This is the scent that I'm going to now chase. And
Because I'm assuming she's going on and on about the dog stuff to make a point of, I don't know, did they use a dog, or does this family have a dog, and they cannot find any track of a baby. It's not just no one saw a baby. They can't even find the child via smell, question mark. I'm guessing.
that item is like the most important thing for a canine dog. First of all, it has to have been used or worn for at least a few hours, like this sweater. And it would have had to have been worn or used within the past day. Can't be longer than that. And 3, it has to have not been touched extensively by other people, which is really hard for infants. You've got caregivers touching them nonstop, which would create what they call a scent cocktail. And it's actually very interesting. Like when canine dogs go out there to search for humans and even little babies, their canine trainers will even tell them to, it's like deleting scents almost. So they have to first smell the trainer, smell the officers, so that they can just ignore that completely.
That's cool.
Yeah. And it's very difficult. And maybe that's why these canine dogs are having a hard time tracking Emmanuel. Or maybe it's the fact that he's 7 months old, 25 pounds, and he had just been kidnapped. Emmanuel's mom, Rebecca Haro, she's telling the police everything that's happened.
She just have like a bruise on her face, so definitely got attacked, question mark. Who knows how long after this happened though. Like this picture was taken.
She's at this football game, this football practice with her husband, Jake Haro. So Rebecca and Jake Haro. Her husband, Jake, has a son from a previous marriage. That son is playing football. What he forgets is mouth guard. You can't play football without a mouth guard unless you want to spend the next few weeks tube feeding yourself a diet of mashed potatoes and popsicles. You're going to be missing a 2 front tooth. Rebecca offers to run to the sports store nearby, grab a mouth guard. Jake is like, presumably he's like, okay, I'm going to stay with my son. Rebecca takes their 7-month-old son, Emmanuel, pulls up to the Big 5 sporting goods store. This is August 14th, 2025.
Okay, so literally last month, which is also kind of the problem of watching these newer videos, is that they just happened. Thus, we have, I'm assuming, literally no information on what just happened. It's not even a month ago, like 4 days off of a month. So I'm assuming there's going to be no resolution to this story. So we're giving the husband an alibi from him being at a football game, playing football. I'm guessing that's his alibi. I don't know if that's going to hold up. Like, if they just made it up and no one actually saw him at the football game? Question mark.
A few weeks ago, at around 7:30, 7:45.
A couple weeks ago?
Yeah.
Oh.
By 7:47 p.m., deputies are dispatched, K9 units are on the ground, helicopters are in the air circling this sports store. And Rebecca's story is very simple. Like, maybe too simple. I came over here, I parked right at the edge of the parking lot. When I was driving over, I had smelled the baby had went to the restroom, so I said, don't worry, we're gonna change you. She parked her car, gets out the driver's side, goes to the back seat, opens the door, lays Emmanuel down next to his car seat. So she takes him out of the car seat, puts him down just on the seat of the car. She's about to change his diaper, and that's when she hears a strange voice right behind her, and they just say one word. Hola, hello in Spanish. And then she says everything goes white. She says the whole thing happened so fast she couldn't even really give investigators any sort of description on the kidnapper. She literally just heard Hola, got knocked out, woke up, and her son is gone. Gone. Just like that. Just gone. By the next day, she's got this giant black eye, and she's begging.
Well, giant in quotation. It does look like she got hit, though, but I don't know how severe it was. Again, I don't know if like this was just like them scheming because they already lost their child some other way, like they did something bad and they're just trying to make up a scheme. I don't know. The child is lost. I guess the child does exist, obviously. It's just like what happened to it.
The public on all these news stations to help her find her 7-month-old son.
Like I have a feeling where the narrative is trying to go. She didn't give her little disclaimer at the beginning, so maybe it's not going to go there. But I feel like I have a feeling where this is going, and it has to do like with what was said.
And the whole thing is so weird. Like the fact that Rebecca said the attacker came from behind her. She only heard Hola. She was caught off so off guard. She didn't even have time to turn around and see who it was. But the black eye is square in the middle of her eye.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like she was hit, but it doesn't look like that crazy of
They
it.
hit her from the back and from?
No.
Oh.
She's only hit once. So did they like swing their arm around her like they're about to give her a back hug? Did they come from the side and swerve at her? It's just...
It depends on if she turned around when hearing Hola, right? Did she turn around and then they swung? Like, did she turn to her left and then they swerved to their left at the same time and then swung? I know that sounds like nothing. Maybe I don't think I can illustrate that either. So say this is her, this is the guy. She turns this way, he turns this way at the same time, whilst swinging like that. So it can catch this side of her face? Question mark.
Straight to the front. How did she not see anything? She didn't turn? She didn't see anything before being knocked out? I mean, I thought...
Also, how's she going to end up landing too? Because, let me actually, can we undo that? Yeah, we can get that back on the screen. I need this to be lower than that. Because if she's changing the child's diaper, I'm guessing they're doing the backseat, right? And like you have the car here, but isn't the car door here? So if she gets hit this way, she's going to fly back into the car door? Question mark. How long was she knocked out? And is there like any... well, I guess it depends on how... If she actually got knocked out, I mean, where she would fall would have been random. Like how her body reacted to being... just fainting, I guess.
He came up from the side, from the back. Like, how would he punch her straight to her face and she doesn't see a glimpse of anything? She doesn't even know an article of clothing. Like, was he wearing a black hoodie? Was he wearing a white hoodie? Nothing. The initial public reception to all of this is uncomfortable. People are trying to spread the word of Emmanuel being missing, but at the same time, people are very creeped out about Rebecca. There is something about Rebecca that is just weird. I don't know if it's her unsettling breathing patterns, the way that her voice gets super high-pitched out of nowhere and then drops back down, and then she's got this like very weird stare that she does. Or maybe it's the fact that nothing in this case makes sense. Rebecca claims her 7-month-old son is kidnapped in a parking lot by someone who is very adamant about greeting their victims first. It is such a ridiculous incident that almost everybody believes Rebecca is lying. It just doesn't make...
Well, like some sort of serial snatcher? Do you want to call that? Like they have their calling card. The calling card is coming behind someone, saying hola, and then knocking them out.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Until reports come out that someone has confessed to Emmanuel's murder from jail to an...
Okay. So is it the fact that they aren't? Wait, let me actually see what she says.
Undercover cellmate. That's the report. But is it true? What happened to baby Emmanuel? And is this the dumbest fake story of a kidnapping? Or is it so bad of a story, so ridiculous, that it's doing exactly what the kidnapper wanted all along, which is put all of the suspicion on Rebecca? This is the ongoing case of Emmanuel Haro.
Ongoing. Like I said, this happened like, what, less than a month ago? That's always the issue with reporting on things that had just happened, so we don't know what's going to happen. So who's the person admitting to it in jail? Is it actually Rebecca?
We would like to thank today's sponsors who have made it possible for Rotten Mango to support Baby to Baby. They're a national nonprofit that provides children whose families face financial hardship with diapers, clothing, and all the basic necessities. This episode's partnerships have also made it possible to support Rotten Mango's growing team, and we would also like to thank you guys for your continued support. As always, full show notes are available at rottenmangopodcast.com. Today's case involves the abuse of a child, specifically an infant, so under a year old. If these types of cases involving young children are too difficult, don't hesitate to skip this episode. We'll see you in the next one. Secondly, there are lots of discussions regarding the justice and child welfare systems in the US that have consistently and pretty miserably failed children. And along with that, there's a lot of netizen discussions regarding unconfirmed details about this case. A lot of rumors, and there have been a lot of rumors that have been clarified by the sheriff's office of being like, no.
I mean, it's literally a month ago, so
No, why are you believing internet rumors? It's been a messy case, and it would be impossible to cover this without even telling you what's going on online. So there is just a lot of lack of confirmed details, and we want to be clear that when we mention some of these rumors, we're just going to tell you straight up, this is literally just a speculation that's being made online. So with that being said, let's get started. Acting coaches will notice things that the casual viewer of a movie just doesn't notice. They're going to nitpick their students because that's their job. The shoulders are not symmetrical. They're supposed to be symmetrical. It's weird. You think that they wouldn't be. But when someone is in a state of grief, everything is symmetrical. Usually, unless they're predisposed to some sort of asymmetry in the face, all of their expressions are symmetrical on their face. Their shoulders are symmetrical. It's even to the point where if you were to lay your arm down on a coffee table and then rest your head on your shoulder, this shoulder usually doesn't slump down during grief. Maybe in depression or sadness, but grief specifically, it'll stay symmetrical.
That is weird. Really?
Yeah, it's
it's a bunch of stuff I haven't heard before.
just a thing. It's always symmetrical. I mean, most people. If only one side of the neck muscles are tense, it's usually not an accurate portrayal of grief.
Is this like a body language thing, or is this like a acting?
It's an acting thing, but it's rooted in a lot of what happens in the brain when you're experiencing grief.
Okay.
And it's just been anecdotally, I mean, obviously case by case. I mean, some people are just going to have natural body shapes and forms where they can't really be symmetrical.
Got it.
I assume like that can't be just held to 100% accuracy. Like there has to be some nuance to that. It can't just work for everyone.
But for a lot of people, it's symmetrical. Even with genuine grief, you expect a lot of irregular breathing. And a lot of it is going to be this gasping for air because you're very tense on the inside. So you want to always bring air in. Fake grief is interesting because you can almost tell that people hold their breath because that's what people will typically do to generate tears, and they will breathe out.
Huh.
Almost like sighs.
That is so fascinating.
Whereas real grief, it's inward.
Yeah.
I mean, it's fine if you're rating the newest release of an A24 movie, but why is the internet using this type of commentary to analyze and reanalyze a mother's literal desperate plea for help?
Okay, so it's not even like a professional, it's just the internet assuming these things about them.
Rebecca, her son, has been kidnapped in a parking lot. She's knocked out unconscious. She's got a big bulging black eye that's throbbing on her face. She's front news in front of the cameras, and the internet is collectively analyzing whether or not her breathing sounds like genuine grief, which kind
Again, big bulging black eye doesn't look like that. It's all so, well. I mean, she's probably using like an older, like a newer image of her, right? Because
in front of the cameras, and the internet is collectively analyzing whether or
it's barely there now.
not her breathing sounds like genuine grief, which kind of sounds insane until you watch the interviews. Rebecca is standing there in front of the camera. At times, her eyes kind of pinch closed. Other times, she's glancing from at one point on the floor to another area. It's a little strange. Her voice is shaky, but consistently shaky. It's almost like high pitched like this and shaky.
And I ran into Big Five, and I asked the lady if she saw a baby or someone with a baby. She said no.
She explains how she left her stepson's football practice to go grab a mouth guard for him, but she takes
It does sound like the constant like inhaling thing, but she's inhaling, right? People sound like that sometimes, like the panicked crying, like the up and down that happens there.
7-month-old Emmanuel and explains how she left her stepson's football practice to go grab a mouth guard for him. But she takes 7-month-old Emmanuel, and as she's about to grab him to bring him into the store, she smells that he needs a diaper change.
I thought it was like the husband. I guess I was not paying attention enough during that point. I did have to like mute for a second earlier on. So the stepson's football game, and I guess the dad stayed there with the stepson, obviously, because he has to. They can't like just leave both kids by themselves. Well, not by themselves, but can't leave one of them by themselves, is what I'm saying. So he stayed there. She went with the infant. So since the dad is not the one actually playing the game, it's the stepson, I'm kind of like, does the theory earlier that the dad was using this as like not the dad, but the couple concocted some sort of story of him showing up in disguise, hitting her kind of, and they just use that as an excuse to why Emmanuel, that's the child's name, right, is missing, because they had already, something had happened, who knows when, and they're like, okay, we got to get rid of Emmanuel, but we got to make it seem like someone else did it.
Parks the car deliberately near the edge of the parking lot. I don't know, maybe to change her baby's diaper in peace. I'm not sure. But she gets out the driver's seat, goes to the back, opens the door, takes him out of the car seat, places him down in the car, and she says,
I was gonna get the diaper and somebody said hola, and I didn't see nothing since.
Rebecca closes her eyes and her voice pitches upward. And it's almost like someone sucks all the air out of Rebecca because she just...
So you're saying that immediately when people watch this footage,
Yeah.
they're already like, that is some weird behavior.
Yeah.
She needs a new acting coach because I don't buy it. Don't believe her story for a minute. She's not a very convincing liar.
And I mean,
Immediately.
this is
Something is off.
even before body experts, body analysis experts even jump into the picture. It's like straight off of TikTok. It's posted on KTLA and people are just commenting, this is so weird. She's
I kind of want like a full length of her interview on the news rather than just like little pieces, because I don't feel like just the little pieces we get here and there is enough to like make some sort of assumption.
behaving very strangely. And she says, and this is another thing. Okay, see if you can point out everything that people point out.
I got him out of the car seat and I laid him down and so I could get his diapers ready. And somebody said, hola, and that's all I remember. And I saw white. And a hearing sound, I fell on the floor. And I said, as I got up, I couldn't find my son. I checked all around my truck. And I ran into Big Five. And I asked the lady if she saw a baby or someone with a baby. She said no. It was a happy boy. He smiled. Mackenzie loved to kiss him.
And you know, she's asked about the baby and she said he recently smiled. She says, bring him back, please. It's interesting that nobody likes this interview from the get-go, from the beginning. A lot of comments initially would start with, I don't want to be the one to say this, but it's kind of weird. Some point out that when she's talking, she sounds like she's trying to catch her breath by, again, pushing air outward, like a constant sighing, like constantly like this, but in a faster pace. A lot of acting coaches, body language experts, later they say, that doesn't even freaking make sense. Okay.
Sure, but who knows if this lady is just unique. It does feel weird, sure. Something else. Oh yeah, it does look like she's shaking though, a bit. Like it's hard to see, but it does look like she's shaking.
Side note, you know the drill. With body language experts, I will say, I find them as confusing, but as fascinating as the buoyancy of cruise ships. I understand that there is science behind it, that there is a method behind it, but every cruise ship is going to be different and everybody has a starting point. I understand it, but also I am a little wary of using it as the only thing.
Yeah, I don't think it's something that should be taken as 100% gospel, question mark. So, sure, whatever. It feels weird.
To say that someone is guilty. But when you watch this video, it is very weird. Body language experts say, again,
We're also using confirmation bias. We're being told from the get-go that it feels weird. Everyone's saying it feels weird. It feels weird. So we're getting confirmation bias by everyone saying that. And that's like, okay, maybe there is something weird going on because everyone else thinks it's weird. There must be something weird going on. So if that wasn't like the narrative from the get-go, would anyone even be feeling that way?
to say that someone is guilty. But when you watch this video, it is very weird. Body language experts say, again, she is sucking air. She's not sucking air inward. She's
Oh, what the heck? That was desyncs.
usually when someone breathes outward, they're trying to calm themselves down. And it's usually in a place of silence. But when you're emotional and you're trying to get words out and you're kind of panicked, which this is the situation, you're most likely going to suck the air inwards. As for her tears, people have pointed out the absence of any tears. But additionally, the whites of her eyes are not red. There's not really any mucus around her nose. And the whites of her eyes are actually very, very white, which just adds more suspicion to her story. However,
What, because it's not bloodshot?
I will say some body language experts also argue the opposite, that perhaps people have delayed emotional processing, mainly because they're still trying to digest and get through the shock, which would result in the lack of tears. However, those people that don't have tears, they typically don't look and sound like they're crying, just minus the tears. They'll just talk normally. So it's very odd. There's lots of sniffling, but not a lot of mucus, not a lot of snot, not a lot of tears, or really anything.
I kind of want to see the clip again, just because sometimes she is breathing in, and her torso is expanding up, which implies that she's breathing in. Like, why would you move upwards if you're exhaling?
People also say that her word choice is very fascinating. She says things like, he was a happy boy, he smiled. Obviously, past tense is strange.
Yeah, I was just about to say that, but yeah, past tense. So, I'm always talking about past tense.
She also says things like, I fell on the floor. As soon as I got up, I couldn't find my son. I got him out of the car seat and I laid him down on the chair and so I could get his diapers ready. And somebody said, Hola, and that's all I remember. I saw white, I fell on the floor, and as soon as I got up, I couldn't find my son. I checked all around the truck and ran into Big Five and I asked the lady if she saw a baby or someone with a baby and she said no. The first thing is it's very strange that she doesn't describe or explain any of the parts where she freaks out.
I see. She got up. There's no description of her state.
A lot of interrogators and investigators have said that's one of the biggest ways to see if somebody is lying about their perspective. Because when you are in a heightened emotional state, such as you wake up after you've been knocked out in a Big Five parking lot and your baby is gone, instantly your brain is actually focusing more on internal perspective. So there's going to be lots of emotions that seep through. It's going to be like, so I started freaking out and I started screaming because I couldn't find my son and I was panicked. There's lots of like internal. So I thought maybe this happened, maybe that happened. So then I checked around the truck.
Yeah, like if you're making up a story, you probably will think of the train of actions instead of like, oh, I'm feeling this way at this point.
Yes.
Oh.
And even the train of actions don't make sense because people are saying, why are you not just screaming like, help, someone call 911? Why don't you call 911 immediately? Why aren't you?
Yeah, of course, didn't really think of that, but yeah, where's 911? Why are you going into this life? Why go into the store and be like, hey, have you seen my kid? Instead of being like, hey, 911, I got punched in the face and my baby stolen.
Screaming anything. Also, the fact that you walk into the Big Five store and you have the time to go ask an employee, have you seen my son? Is very bizarre because your son is 7 months old. Your son is not crawling into the store by himself. Yeah. None of that makes sense. Maybe.
Yeah, I mean, it depends on how advanced the child is, right? If they are like, I don't know, let's use the term premium child, they could be walking at that age, but that's like best case scenario that a 7-month-old could be walking around. And they're not going to get very far.
If your son was 10, it would make more sense. But no, it doesn't make sense. Also, another thing with the internal POV is a lot of the times you have hypotheses that are in there. And she doesn't have that. You don't have theory. So people will say things like, I woke up and when I got back up, I was terrified. My heart was racing. I thought maybe someone hit me with a baseball.
Yeah.
I thought maybe Emmanuel fell out of the car seat.
Yeah.
So then there's like all of these, or I thought someone brought him in there because something ABCD, but it's not just, then I walked on. I did this.
She's just a really bad actor, huh?
Yeah. Additionally, she just uses a lot of distancing language. Him instead of Emmanuel or even my son. It's weird. Also, the fact that she says she got up off the floor when she's outside in a parking lot, that would be the ground. Or when she set Emmanuel down on the chair instead of the seat of the car. Usually people will say seat, not a chair, when you reference the seat of the car. A lot of people thought that was strange. Some point out it could be the language barrier. However, others think, no, maybe this is her trying to pull from other memories where something similar happened. Not an abduction, but some sort of incident involving Emmanuel where she was knocked down onto the floor because clearly she has a black eye. Like she got.
Yeah, she has been hit. Not. Again, I'm saying, okay, let's continue with the theory that something happened to him earlier on. Okay, maybe we can. Let's remove suspicion from Rebecca for a second. And assume she's protecting, I don't know, the husband. And something happened early on with Emmanuel, and then he hit her, and that's where that comes from, which is also why I feel like it doesn't seem severe enough of a like bruise. I feel like it is like pretty dark purple, but it's, I don't know. We're just gonna say it's already been healing for a while in this picture, question mark. So it could have been an instance of the husband hitting her. And during a moment where something happened to Emmanuel, question mark. And she created this story to protect the husband from getting in trouble to whatever happened with Emmanuel.
Got this black eye from somewhere. And she's trying to reconstruct this new story around her previous emotions. That's the initial internet speculation. But more than that, people thought it was also weird that in 2 separate interviews, she mentions that she didn't see this alleged abductor. She didn't like see what he's wearing. She didn't see his face. All she knows about the kidnapper is that he said, Hola. But in the 2 interviews, her tone and cadence for Hola are different.
Somebody said hola, and somebody said hola, and that's all I remember.
And if this is the only thing you have on the kidnapper, you would focus a lot about the voice, the tone.
Yes.
It sounded like he was a smoker. It sounded like he was older. It sounded like he had a husky voice. There's really no descriptions of the voice. Just he said hola.
Okay, again, so this happened. She called the police, and the news reporter came.
Yes.
But how about the news reporter or the police ask her, what did he sound like instead? Because I think she's not giving any description. Okay, maybe coerce her into giving a description and see if she has one. And if that story stays straight rather than just assuming, right, she's just lying. Again, I don't know what's going on. I'm assuming this whole story is about her lying, but other side of this coin, right, is, okay, ask her about these things rather than just assuming she's lying off the bat because she didn't mention them from the get-go.
And they conduct this interview just like, hey, what happened? Tell me what happened. And she just did an innocent interview.
Yes.
With the news. And then everyone's like, you are lying.
Yeah.
Wow.
Everyone. And even the fact that this alleged abductor would even say hola, people don't believe that, because why would you do that? You're trying to surprise attack someone and you say hello first before you knock them out. It sounds like something that only happens in the movies. Why leave the mother of the child you're abducting with the recollection of your voice to be able to identify you later? Why give her the chance to even turn around and glance at you? If someone talks to you, you're going to try and glance up and see who just said hola. Why even give her the opportunity? Why don't you just fully sneak up on her? It just doesn't make sense. There's also these little parts where she's out there and strangers are praying for her and they're placing their hands on the top of her head. And she just has very uncomfortable body language. In another video of Rebecca, she's standing there and she's holding hands with family members while a member of the community wants to pray for them. Her left hand is holding her mom's hand and Rebecca's right hand is free. And her thumb is scratching her middle finger. I've done this.
Are we doing this body language thing again where that's like a nervous tick or something?
Motion before. This motion I usually do when I'm really like
anxious?
Not anxious. It's like I don't really want to be at a location because maybe I'm anxious, maybe I have social anxiety, but it's not like this overwhelming, oh, I'm about to have a panic attack. It's
I don't think I've ever done this gesture before.
just I feel very uncomfy. I feel like I feel weird. Maybe I feel like I look crazy and someone looked at me and maybe they think that I smell and I feel very uncomfortable, but I can't really get out of here. So my shoulders go up and I'm kind of scratching my middle finger and I'm like, it's just an uncomfortable situation. It's not anxiety. It's just, I feel weird. Maybe I feel gross and maybe they think I'm smelly. Like that's the vibe. I thought it was interesting because I have never done that motion when I'm under stress, panic, or anxiety. Like actual stress, panic, or anxiety. It's always kind of like, I just feel a little uncomfy. A lot of experts point out that that's not a self-soothing motion, at least in times of grief or panic. Usually you will see palms on thighs. You'll see lots of people rub their chest or even touch their face or their hair. Research apparently shows that self-soothing mechanisms in high stress are broad, low-intensity stimulations of the skin. You're gonna have large muscle groups. You're gonna have your whole hand. You're gonna have your whole shoulders, your chest. You're not gonna have 2 fingers. And you're gonna be rubbing a lot rather than scratching because you want to have low-intensity stimulation of the skin. You don't want something to be painful or even too intense because you're just not in that state.
Sure. Though, can we add, I mean, this is gonna be weird. Can we add, like, being as vague as possible, emos to that? Because obviously, millennial, like, I feel like the emos came out of the millennial era. You'd assume they wouldn't be soothing like this, if you understand what I'm saying. They would be harming, or inflicting pain to themselves, to put it that way, during in like stressful moments. So that makes an argument for there being people who just don't soothe themselves via this rubbing motion. Some people actually soothe themselves by hurting themselves.
Yeah, that makes sense.
This is very strange, which
Okay, it's like what is it? How does it, like, the pain, the physical pain makes you forget about the emotional pain, is the logic behind that.
means because you're just not in that state.
Yeah, that makes sense.
This is very strange, which means did Rebecca do something to Emmanuel? And why? And also, what about Jay Caro, Emmanuel's dad, who stayed behind at the football game? Does he not find her interview suspicious? If you saw your partner, the mother of your child or the father of your child or whoever, have these interviews, would you not look at them a certain way?
Again, I'm saying that they're in on it, or he's like, she's protecting him because he did it, and she's doing like the wife thing of protecting the husband, but it's his fault, question mark, or the earlier theory of they did something together and created this story to try to get away with it.
Jake accompanies Rebecca in a few of her media interviews, and although he's clearly wasn't there during when this alleged kidnapping takes place, he's standing next to Rebecca and he's telling the news station, a police officer got on the phone and let me know what was going on. That's when I got hysterical. I started panicking. Some netizens felt it was more in line with internal POV, but then it gets weird. I guess Jake is asked about any distinctive features on Emmanuel, which understandably, Emmanuel is a very little boy. I get it. He's a little boy. There may not be so many distinctive features on him at this age, but Jake responds. He has a little lazy eye.
Literally, I mean, you see it immediately when you see his face. Like, are you going to make the argument like, oh, that's not the first thing to bring up? That's literally the first thing you see when you see him. Like, no offense, but it's like, okay, that's an easy descriptor. Most children aren't going to have that sort of, I assume most children aren't going to have that problem. So it's like a defining point of this child to be like, okay, this is a very specific thing about this kid. And we can like hone in on that to find him.
It's the only thing that's distinctive about him. He has no birthmarks. Beautiful, healthy baby boy, 7-month-old baby. I feel like there's got to be other things.
Yeah, that sounds very detached to describe your own son. No?
Yeah, I mean, I have two.
I don't know, in my opinion, it's the most distinctive thing about him when seeing him. And on the thumbnail, when they showed him earlier, that's the first thing you notice. Well, at least the first thing I noticed. Like, I would have to see his picture again to give better, to like get any other descriptors. I would have to see it again to add on top of that.
Two nieces, and I feel like even when they were 1 month old, I would have.
You would try very hard to describe your kid because like you're gonna give as much details as possible. Like, oh, they look like this, they have this feature, right?
Yes.
But you're saying his description is like that. That's it.
I mean, I feel like I would sit there and give a full description of physical attributes, but also he cries in the morning when ABC.
Of course, yeah. If like you're actually the parent, you have like years of knowing well, not a year, but like 7 months of having more details than that. But from someone who is on the outside looking in, hit the mic there, my bad. Outside looking in, it's the first thing you would notice, maybe.
ABC happens. He's very scared of the dark. He does this, he does that, but just nothing. He just has a lazy eye. I mean, I feel like there's got to be on other things. In another part, he says he was a healthy baby. He was crawling, he was kicking, he was playing with his toys. And I've listened to this clip so many times. A lot of netizens say that they hear it was kicking rather than he was kicking. I can kind of hear both, so I don't want to say definitively, but it's...
What, we're trying to use Freudian slips? Is that what that is? We're saying Freudian slip with him saying it.
It was kicking rather than he was kicking. I can kind of hear both, so I don't want to say definitively, but it's still interesting that none of these are personal attributes. It's just like random developmental check marks for kids. I mean, I think he could have ended with, he's a healthy baby boy, but his personality was ABC. Here's this very specific thing that he would do and we miss him so much. It's just odd. Additionally, he also keeps using past tense. I tried to look into it. I couldn't find rock solid studies that are super firm. Oh, if you use past tense, that means you're guilty in a situation like this. But it is pretty well known amongst humans that relatives will typically use present tense for people that are missing. Even relatives in cases where their loved ones have been missing for years, they tend to use present tense.
Yeah, because it's like, it gives hope that like, oh, they're still around. Like, no, they're not gone. They're not dead, right? They're still here, and thus you would use present.
Really, this doesn't apply to every single person out there, especially when it's been years later. This is when it happens, when a relative is missing, a lot of present tense. But some families, even years later, will keep using present tense because one of the biggest things is they say that it feels like they're suspended in space. There's no closure. Even when authorities say they've been gone for 2 years, it's likely that they're dead. They still use present tense because you only remember them like that. There was no event where your brain can rationalize, okay, they are now gone. It's very difficult to say, but this is Jake Haro and Rebecca Haro less than 24 hours into Emmanuel being missing using past tense.
He was a healthy baby. He was crawling, he was kicking, and he was playing with his toys.
In another interview, you have Rebecca and Jake both standing there.
That sounded like a he, not it.
Jake is wearing a white hoodie. Rebecca is in short sleeves. And Jake is... he's strangely standing there holding up a missing poster for the camera, just constantly in front of him, almost blocking his torso. The missing poster has a picture of Emmanuel at the top, and under it in big red letters, it reads, missing kid, Emmanuel Haro, 7 months old. And in black, it says, please contact dad, Jake's phone number, mother, Rebecca's phone number. And we're gonna come back to this because netizens think
Okay.
just missing kid is weird. So just say missing kid. It's very, again, distancing language. Instead of
Oh, missing
Emmanuel
child?
Haro, 7 months old, please find my baby. It's just like missing kid.
Yeah, I don't know about that one. I was like, oh, he's just holding up a thing. Hello, the heck? What's up? Though, it just seemed... I don't know, his hand was kind of shaking. He did have a water ball in its hand, so maybe it's like the weight of that, but his hand was trembling-ish? Question mark.
Jake takes a small step towards the camera.
We come to you guys asking you to help us find our son. He was abducted last night from Big 5. Somebody struck my wife while she was trying to change his diaper.
Rebecca's in the background making these periodic noises of pain. It's like, she also talks very high pitched in this one, and she says, "Don't hesitate to call."
Don't hesitate, just call.
His name is Emmanuel. He's 7 months old. And when they start getting emotional, both of them get this distant look in their eyes, as if they're just like looking into the vast beyond, into a black hole, a portal into a parallel universe, searching for answers. It's odd. I feel like maybe this would be more reasonable if their son had been missing for years, to have this very disconnected stare, where
I feel like we need to like see that closer because I was too small in the corner there, but can't really. The shadow is kind of blocking his eyes, so you can't really. I can't see that, at least from that video size. Yeah, the whole thing is that, well, specifically so far, it's the woman's like body language, how she's talking about things, about information that she's giving, doesn't add up with what professionals are saying. So it seems like they're lying about what happened potentially, and like nobody. Like it could be them who's done it, or who knows. But like everyone was suspicious of them from the get-go when their baby was abducted. Which, if you just joined, woman and husband are at a football game for their one of their children. I think it's stepson, so it's the husband's child. They're at the game for that. Lady's like, "Oh, our stepson doesn't have a mouth guard. I'll go get it with our infants." To this store. She goes to the store. She needs to change the baby. She puts the baby in the back. Someone comes up behind her, says "Hola," punches her. She gets knocked out, wakes up, baby's missing, and then that's where we're at. And like how she didn't call 911 immediately as soon as she woke up. She didn't start panicking and screaming all over the place. She just went into the store and was like, "Hey, have you seen my kid?" Like instead of calling 911, she just goes into the store that was nearby and it's like, "Hey, have you seen my child?" Rather than like freaking out in the parking lot calling 911 or whatever. Like, "Hey, my child's just been abducted, I've been attacked," yada yada yada.
where it seems like they're just not here. But right now, it seems like a high intensity, momentum building, adrenaline rushing moment. Why are you staring off into the distance? When asked about any updates, Rebecca says, "No, we don't have any. They haven't told us anything." Jake states, "They said that they don't have any major updates." He mentions that there's a community search party at 4:30, and he says, "We're just asking you guys if you guys could help us, you know?" Rebecca's in the back. She's grunting. "Please."
This is what he looks like.
His hand is kind of shaking though.
Just the baby. Just give our son back, please.
He was wearing a black onesie with a Nike swoosh on him.
Jake sounds emotional, kind of similar to Rebecca, but both of their faces are very scrunched up. However, it's hard to say if they're crying or not. He's just a baby. Just give our son back, please. People have a field day with Jake's interview as well. They point out it's weird that he uses the word diaper instead of a diaper.
Is it? I noticed that he said diaper, but maybe that's just they're using like cute baby language because they're used to taking care of babies, so they use the term diaper or whatever, or like their parents and their parents before them use the term diaper. I feel like that's you're nitpicking at that point.
It almost comes off intentionally. "I'm just a harmless man."
Sure, we can also go that opposite end, devil's advocate, because my two stories are they did something to the child together, and the wife was like, "Hey, hit me in the face so we can pretend that someone hit me and stole the child, but it's really we did it." Or story two, husband beat wife, did something to the child, but the wife is like kind of Stockholmed, so she does not wanted to throw the husband under the bus, so she's defending him by saying "man stole baby at store." Right, so those are my two kind of paths currently right now, other than just this actually happened. She did say at the beginning, maybe that's what this, if there is a guy who did it, they want this kind of chaos to happen because it's a story that's so crazy that like, why would you ever believe them? Which if it is that case, well then he's doing a good job because he's created a scenario of man gets behind people, says "Hola," punches them, and snatches their kid. And like, who would ever believe that story? Which if there is a dude who's doing this, it just gives him the ammo to keep doing this because no one's going to believe it. I guess unless enough people keep saying that, hey, this happened to me.
Diaper is weird. It's weird.
Yeah.
Others point out that Rebecca and Jake don't look very close in the interview. Sure, they're both stressed out, but they don't seem like a unit looking for their son. They're not.
Sure, they were. I did notice that they were holding hands though in that interview together. Yeah, it could be seen as them trying to come off as like, oh, we're innocent and frail, like you said. If they did something together, if there's like if they did something to the child before all this.
Comforting each other, something that they're just on different wavelengths. I will say there is another video of them where they are sitting down and Jake is holding up the missing kid poster and Rebecca is recounting the events to the reporter of how someone said hola before she got knocked out. They're holding hands, but because the sides of their chair are pretty high, the way that
they're holding hands here as well. They're holding hands in the other video as well.
Holding hands, Rebecca's shoulder is like all the way up and her arm is bent very uncomfortably. It doesn't appear like they're holding hands to get comfort because it's not comfortable. One behavior analysis expert on YouTube says, it's interesting because Jake is not comforting Rebecca. In fact, he seems more intent on engaging with the camera, which one could argue, sure, you do want to engage with the media because media will help get eyes on your case and eyes will help you look for a manual. But in the interviews, none of them are really begging either. Usually parents of missing children, there's a lot of begging involved, begging, pleading to the public, the people, the abductor, the police, like God, it's just a lot of begging, understandably, but there's not a lot of begging.
Sure. I feel like you might just see people like hands and knees on the ground, crying, saying, please give my child back, something like that, on the full like extreme. Like that might be what people are doing, like literally on the ground crying, begging for them to just give their child back.
There's not a lot of, I mean, there is a lot of engaging with the camera, but not begging. At one point, Jake just straight up looks at the camera and states, whoever took our son, please give him back. And he does this and he wipes a tear off the side of his face. And people thought that was weird too. People say when you are initially crying, especially when you're standing or sitting up straight, sure, when you're laying down 2 years full of tears, everybody knows that song. But when you're standing straight and you first start crying, they'll usually come out in the inner corners. And then when your eyes are overflowing with tears, they'll start dripping from all corners.
Okay, so what does that even mean?
But he just like is wiping one tear from the side of his face, outer cheek. And there's not even a tear. He just wipes it.
Oh, he's looking. Oh,
yeah. So it's like
he makes the gesture of wiping it, but it's like, how is there a tear from the corner of your eyes?
We don't even see the tear.
Yeah.
And if there is like the most microscopic tear that's not caught on camera, it would just be a weird placement for the tear to come out because it seems like it's his first tear to come out.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Additionally, the white hoodie that he's wearing is fascinating to people.
Why? Just what, a clean American Eagle white hoodie? Question mark. I don't know what we are going to ascertain from that,
wow,
but let's get that on the screen.
Additionally, the white
Yeah, like a white American Eagle hoodie. Again, pristine white, but I don't know if that matters. It is on. Okay, I think I see where we're going. It is probably a very hot day outside, and he's wearing a hoodie. Is that what we're going with? Like hoodie in hot weather? Though, counter argument, devil's advocate, when I was in middle school, I always wore a hoodie no matter what temperature it was. It was kind of like a what's the good way of putting it? Because self-image isn't the right word. Self-esteem thing, self-esteem, self-image in middle school. So I was like, I did not want to have a hoodie off, even if it was melting outside. The hoodie was on. So devil's advocate, I was the guy who always had a hoodie on, even if it was hot.
hoodie that he's wearing is fascinating to people because this area is Cabazon in near Los Angeles. It's where the outlets were. Do you remember? Like you would drive like I want to say like 2 hours because there was.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
And it's in Cabazon. Oh, is it 2 hours? I feel like
and it's hot.
Yeah. That's I knew that was what they were getting to. That it's hot, and him wearing a hoodie when it's hot is supposed to imply something. I think the whole like what they're trying to get at. Okay, it's hot. This man's wearing a hoodie. Is he trying to hide something? Like, why is he hiding his body? I think he was wearing a hoodie in the other interviews too, right? So I think that's what they're trying to get at. Like, what are you hiding underneath that hoodie? Question mark.
not only is it hot, they were going through a record heat wave.
And he's wearing like a hoodie.
Yes. Why is he wearing a hoodie?
What the heck? Yeah.
Some overly enthusiastic netizens, whether understandably or not, are wondering if he's hiding something under those hoodies, like wounds, because why are you wearing a hoodie?
That's more than weird.
Yeah, it's very strange.
Yeah, it's just like people are wondering what's hiding underneath there. You got bruising under there, whatever. Who knows?
There's this interesting video taken by someone who was there with Rebecca and Jake right before the media interview. They receive, I don't know if it's a family friend, I don't know who it is, but they come in with a box of printed flyers, the missing kid flyers. It's in like a little paper box. Jake is handed it. He opens it up and he's staring at the sack of flyers. Rebecca stares at the flyers, stares at him, stares at the flyers, stares at him, just like darting her eyes back and forth repeatedly. It's like she's trying to gauge his reaction to the flyers, which people thought was very interesting because why are you not focusing on the flyers themselves? You're his mom. Wouldn't you want to make sure that everything that is necessary is on the flyers, that the phone number is correct? It's just weird. And Jake has this very stoic, expressionless face for what feels like 5 seconds, but it was probably like closer to 3. And finally, he starts looking sad. She then looks down at the flyers and starts crying. And it's only then that she has any sort of emotion. She's just staring back at the flyers, back at him, back at the flyers. It's weird. These interviews are so unsettling that people on the internet are instantly talking about how maybe if you want a 0 rating on IMDb, you hire these two because there's no way they're telling the truth.
Again, we're going with the confirmation bias that it seems from the get-go that everyone was like, oh, this is suspicious, they're suspicious, blah, 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 blah. And so you've already created like a confirmation bias of making everyone assume there's a suspicion. So that's just the narrative now. Everyone's just going to go into it expecting something wrong here. Look in, they might be. Yeah, it's a funny joke. We were using like, she was talking about like actor stuff earlier. And that's how they were like, gauging their body language. But yeah, we're not going into their interviews and body language unbiased because from the get-go we've been told something is suspicious. Though she did say early on that someone did admit to it in jail. So I guess we'll get to that, whoever that ends up being, later.
They're acting. This is an act, which means Emmanuel was never kidnapped, which means where the hell is he? And what did his parents do to him? That is the main sentiment. So much so that Jake's own sister comes out with her own TikTok where she explains the whole story in depth. She's trying to clear the air, just make people understand the real situation.
Also, this happens like not even like a month ago. This was what, August 14th? It's September, right? So not even a month ago.
So she realized that he had been to the bathroom on himself before he was a baby.
People are like, that itself is weird.
What? I didn't even...
Went to the bathroom on...
I need a... Is she also holding a baby right now?
Air, just make people understand the real situation.
So she
realized that he
had
went to the bathroom on which I think that's... Yeah, she went to go change the diaper in the back seat.
himself before he was a baby.
People are like, that itself is weird. What do you mean? Of course he is. Isn't he wearing a diaper? That's what happens when you wear a diaper. You use the restroom in the diaper.
She laid him down in the back. Her back was turned. She was about to change him. She was getting everything prepared. And she felt like a tap on her shoulder.
So now people are like, okay, now there was a tap on her shoulder.
That's also, now we're adding info that wasn't there before. It was Hola before.
She turned around and all she heard was Hola. So she turned around and then heard Hola?
Well, that's what I was saying would happen. Like if that, in that scenario, if to get a like black eye on that side of her face, like, can I get that back on the screen? Have I not done anything since then? Yeah, I haven't done anything since then. So we still have the drawing. Like, this is the woman. This is the perpetrator. She's here. He says hola. She has to spin this way as he spins around this way and then swings, and he can catch the right side of her face. And thus that would push her back into the door, but we haven't had any information on the door. Like her, if she hit the door backwards, she just like gets knocked out, lands on the floor, well, ground, but she uses the word floor, and the baby's gone.
And before she could even see this person, acknowledge this person, whatever the case may be, he socked her in the face, and she ended up blacking out. He knocked her out, and she fell to the floor. And
That a lot of people have contentions with as well. Rebecca kept saying that she saw white when she was knocked out. A lot of people have reported that you typically see black. And usually you see white before you faint or you get very woozy. But again, that could just be like a person-specific thing. But it was very random.
Next thing you know, as she came to, she woke up. She was looking around for the baby. The baby was gone.
Which again, it just the direction of everything. It's like, okay, the baby was gone. She was looking for the baby.
She's a great mother. So everything you guys are saying about her, first of all, you don't know her, and show some compassion. Like she just had her son taken from her.
I think it's unfair to say that a lot of people didn't have compassion. That weekend, like I said, were record-breaking heat waves in the area of Cabazon. It was 105 degrees. This is very dry desert heat area. There's lots of dust everywhere. The National Weather Service even put out a statement to Cabazon residents: do not leave your children and pets unattended in cars. Car interiors will reach lethal temperatures in a matter of minutes. People were out there wearing t-shirts that read, "Where is the baby?" They're out there searching for Emmanuel while Jake is giving weird interviews holding up the world's most aggressively bland and emotionless missing kid flyer. The community is out there searching for Emmanuel. They don't believe Rebecca and Jake, but they're looking for Emmanuel.
Sure, there's something else I wanted to say earlier, but I've forgotten.
The community is out there searching.
I wanted to point out Pikachu on the left there. Got Pikachu, got just like polar bear, got Spider-Man, I think. Pikachu, polar bear possibly, or just a white bear, Elmo, Spider-Man, Stitch, another bear, question mark? A lot of stuffed animals like way over here. Is that another Stitch? The Cookie Monster there?
Searching for Emmanuel. They don't believe Rebecca and Jake, but they're looking for Emmanuel, which is proving to be very difficult because in order to find someone, you should start with the last place they were last seen. But if Rebecca is lying, then where was Emmanuel last seen? And when was he even last seen? We don't even know that. The Yucaipa police released a statement. Canine scent tracking dogs were deployed, but the child was not located. No suspect information is available at this time. In the absence of any meaningful information to go off of, the internet starts listing off rapid fire questions like a full-on interrogation. There's so many holes in Rebecca's story that it's starting to resemble the surface of Mars more than reality, such as, I don't know, let's start simple. If you're already bringing Emmanuel into Big Five, this is what a lot of parents are asking, because you're not leaving him in the car, especially not in the midst of a heat wave, why not change him in the bathroom, where they likely have a changing station?
Sure, though maybe she just doesn't want the child to wallow in wastes for that much longer. Like, just do it before she gets into the building. Maybe doesn't want to, stink up the building potentially. I mean, there's any amount of reasons why you wouldn't want to take, you wouldn't want to bring your child with a dirty diaper into a store. You would want to solve the issue before getting to the store, but I guess I understand what they're saying, but there is like counter arguments to that.
She never mentions that he had a blowout or some sort of, because that's when, the poop will come out. She just smelled that he needed a diaper change. So why not bring him into the store? Why do it in the car? Some people are like, okay, I could see maybe it's quicker, it's easier than looking for the bathroom inside the store. The store is probably big. You got to walk further. She's trying to pop in and out. But still, and in a non-remarkably bright moment, one of Rebecca's family members tries to defend all of this by stating it's because Emmanuel didn't have his vaccines yet. So Rebecca would never bring him out of the car. And that was all they said about it. So a few things with that is, what do you mean?
Yeah, because you can't just leave the child in the car. That doesn't make sense. We already know babies not in car. Can't be left in cars. So is it implying that that could go a long way, assuming that they did it, right? Because that could have been a really bad slip up, since she kind of just admitted she never takes Emmanuel out of the car. You are living in a hot place. Is your AC on? Are those windows rolled down? I mean, either way, it doesn't matter. You're not supposed to do that. I'm pretty sure it's probably illegal. So that almost implies that she's always leaving Emmanuel in the car every time. And did that lead to his death? And thus you're creating this story as a cover-up for having your child overheat in the car?
She just leaves him in the car unattended? Like, what was her plan going into Big Five? Change his diaper and then walk into the store while he waits in the car?
Again, illegal.
Secondly, a lot of netizens start stringing together the very obvious threads of suspicion, like the fact that a lot of abusive parents do not take their children to be vaccinated because they know that a lot of the signs of abuse are too big to ignore for pediatricians. But there are other questions too. Rebecca states that she pulls into the parking lot. She's about to go in, about to change the diaper, that whoever kidnapped Emmanuel either took a chance that this specific car had a child in it, and that nobody was in the back seat or the passenger seat. Nobody would be able to help Rebecca. There was not another adult there. And that this Big Five store doesn't have cameras. Somehow manages to kidnap the kid without evidence of some larger premeditated operation. It's a lot of luck for a shitty person. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah, where's the parking lot cameras? I'm guessing maybe they don't have any, but wait, maybe they have footage of her being knocked out, but there's no baby because the title, but no one saw a baby. We haven't gotten to that being anything, but this has a lot of meaning behind it. Like, what do you mean, but no one saw a baby? That implies that someone saw this happen, possibly saw that this did happen, but they didn't see a baby being stolen. And we're only halfway through, nearly halfway, so this could imply a lot.
Sense. There are reports that Big Five employees have told journalists, and if true, the authorities as well, they say the couple are just straight up lying. They say earlier in the month, they came in asking if the shop had surveillance cameras because their car had been broken into, and they wanted to see if they could catch the culprit.
Oh my.
Okay, so casing the joints to see if there's cameras, so if they could create a scenario. So he's been dead for like a month, if we're assuming they did it. So a whole month dead, and they cased this joint to know if they had cameras so they could use this as an alibi to what had happened to him, potentially.
Oh my God, that is crazy.
And if that's true, it's even weirder that Rebecca would allegedly, not really, but allegedly change his diaper in the parking lot where her car was broken into. Because if your car was broken into in that parking lot, you would feel unsafe. But now you're going to change your baby's diaper with the door wide open in this area? Another alleged employee from the Big Five store writes online, she did not have her baby on the day of the alleged kidnapping. The public has the right to know this woman has lied about having a baby with her when she didn't.
Okay, so she did not have a baby, doing the silly clapping, on the day of the alleged abduction. I was there. Police have interviewed me in May of many, I'm guessing, of my coworkers. We're assuming that she's actually telling the truth and she does work there. I mean, we can't confirm that, but I guess the cops can be like, hey, we don't know who this woman is, but I'm guessing this woman is telling the truth.
But what is getting ignored, other than all of these questions, are
So I'm guessing that's there was no baby scenario.
also the calls coming in from the missing kid flyer. There are 2 phone numbers listed on that flyer, Jake and Rebecca, and neither of them are picking up any of the calls. Turns out Rebecca actually disconnects her phone number after these flyers go out, which is sufficiently suspicious. It's
That doesn't make any sense.
argued that she had to. Her mom is like, no, Rebecca had to because people were calling her and leaving her death threats because they didn't believe her story, and it felt like she was behaving strangely in the interviews with media, which some netizens agree, but I would say majority of netizens think that's insane because no matter how many death threats you get, if there's a chance that there's one legitimate phone call that brings you closer to bringing your 7-month kid home, I don't think people will care.
Yeah.
Why not keep your phone on? Jake does not
Sure.
disconnect his phone, but he just stops responding. At one point, the absence of all of these statements, the absence of any answers to these questions that make any sense, they decide that there's going to be another family representative. Rebecca's mom, Mary, she starts talking for Rebecca.
So Rebecca's mom and Jake's sister,
Yeah.
they're all outspoken.
Yes.
They're all supporting the couple.
Seems like it, or at least at that point. Mary does a few interviews and she tells the news.
They're not gonna hurt that baby. That couple were just home buddies.
She later tells reporters that Emmanuel is Rebecca's pride and joy and that she waited years to finally have a baby of her own, which is weird because Rebecca has 2 kids from a previous marriage and she has a 2-year-old daughter with Jake Caro. So Emmanuel is her youngest. She has a 2-year-old daughter. So maybe she meant she was waiting to have a son because it seems that her 2 previous kids from the previous marriage are daughters and she has a 2-year-old daughter and maybe she was waiting years to have a son, but it's just weird. Regardless, Mary says that without Emmanuel, Rebecca is just, quote, she's just going crazy. She can't handle it anymore. She's been without her baby since yesterday afternoon. If you have my grandson, please give it to his mom. She's going crazy. Please have mercy on her.
Oh, this is only 24 hours in?
Yeah.
They disconnected their phone
Yeah.
24 hours in?
Oof. Oh, ad read.
Red sauce.
Tide. What in God's name? What do you mean an ad for Tide? I don't think I've ever seen anyone talk about Tide before as an ad. Like, what the heck? Usually I would just like mute the video, but I think we can just like skip. Oh, we have Shopify comboed off of that into Shopify as well. Yeah, we'll just like skip it this time around. Usually, again, I just should have like there's no link there. Well, it doesn't have a link for Tide. Again, weird that Tide thing, but yeah, Shopify.
rotten.
Yeah.
Shopify.com/rotten.
Go wash your clothes.
A lot of the updates from this case have been broken by a boots-on-the-ground journalist named Ahmed Belozo, who goes by On The Tira on TikTok. He is almost always the first on the scene. It doesn't matter if it's in the middle of the night, in the middle of a blazing heat storm. He's also going through cancer treatments, and he deserves a lot of the credit in this case. On the same hand, though, I will say there has been lots of controversy and discourse about how there will be news that's broken that is later turned out to not be correct. I think sometimes when you have boots on the ground reporting, especially with people who are reporting through social media, I'm not saying that they're lesser or not as lesser, like mainstream media, you get the vibe, but it's just, there's a lot more passion, which I think is necessary for cases. But sometimes there are moments where things are incorrect and the public is misled, and there will be a report that is ultimately not true. But the thing with On The Tira is he always corrects himself, which is very commendable. So if he reports something that everybody was saying is true and he realizes it's not true, he will be one of the first ones to be like, hey guys, I'm so sorry about that. That's not true. So I've taken it all down. I think he means incredibly well. He's very passionate about this case, and he's done a lot for his community as well as for this case. There have been some reported tensions between a lot of social media reporters and the police, however.
What, police didn't like people talking about it online so much?
Because there were numerous false reports, so the police were pretty cutthroat about how much they didn't like this. And then I think it's not On The Tira, and people like On The Tira, I think the police have a problem with. This case got so weird that a TikToker decided that they were going to do tours of the Haro residence later when it's vacated.
What? Drama at the Haro residence? People were trespassing and giving tours of the inside of the house. Who let them into these people's houses? This house? Hello? Just breaking into this couple's house, who, if they're telling the truth, had their son stolen, and now they're having the house ransacked. Potentially things could be stolen, like people's going to this person's house and they could be stealing things in there. Hello? Like, what do you mean that people are just taking tours of their house? What does that even have to do with anything? I mean, that just proves their theories possibly, but I guess if like they're looking for any evidence that there's foul play at the house, I don't know. Again, I can't accept the theories that I put earlier of, no, they did something together and this is their alibi that they made up, or husband's abusive, did something to the child, but wife is Stockholmed and is protecting him. But still, like, what? This is like unheard of.
And they were just breaking and entering.
The fact that people broke into an active crime scene at the Haro house and charged money for tours while advertising on live is still so wild. Live. Like, really? They're live streaming this too? Not just, oh yeah, let's have a tour of the house. Let's live stream us touring these people's houses. These people's house.
Entering into the Haro residence to give tours and charging people money. So I think the police's anger is targeted at those types of people on social media, but
I thought they need to be arrested. Like, you are profiting from a tragic event. Either way, it doesn't matter if the couple did it or if our Ola serial snatcher has done it. Right? You are making money on a... Well, on top, first off, you're breaking and entering. That's a crime. And two, you're making money off of a tragedy in like a really messed up way. It's like, okay, jail time, please? Hello? A fine or something?
What do you mean charging people money?
like,
I didn't get to read that message fast enough before it got sent away. Yeah. Pay money to break a law.
hey, if you want to go into the empty Haro residence while it's empty right now, give me $10.
I'll take you in there?
Yeah, because I've already broken the back door.
And people will do it?
Yeah. I don't know if they were successful in getting in, but it seems like people were trying to get it.
Okay.
Now, On The Tira goes to interview Mary, the grandmother. And in the interview, Mary states, I'm Mary. I'm the mother of Rebecca's mom. Or I'm, Rebecca's mom. That's how she said it.
Please help us find him. If you have him, please return him. We don't want nothing. We will not do anything. Just leave the baby somewhere where we can find him, somewhere that is safe for him.
His mother?
She's not doing good, she's heartbroken,
She was injured.
Yes, she was injured. She was knocked out.
There's no video?
No video. Store doesn't have video.
On the Tira asks the appropriate questions, the ones that mainstream media were not asking, like, how long was she unconscious when she was knocked out? Nope.
Yeah, I do kind of need to know that. She just saying she saw white, then woke up, but like how long? If it was immediate, she could have seen him running away still, or seen a getaway car. If it was a long time, well then he could have had like a decent amount of time to get away. Like how long was she knocked out for?
Nobody knows. Furthermore, like, what do you mean there was no CCTV cameras, no witnesses? It doesn't make sense. She's like, well, I don't really know what's going on with the case. They haven't told us anything. That's the worst thing. They don't tell us nothing. Keep your eyes open for this baby. Please, please. We just lost another grandson. We just buried a grandson last Tuesday, but we can't go through this again. Please.
Okay, more information. They've already lost a child. Who? From who?
Just bring us the baby. Just tell us where he's at. Just leave him somewhere safe. To provide some context, I know you're looking very shocked. The grandson in question is an adult. I mean,
Okay, so not another like baby. She means like grandbaby, but she's just like speaking in care. Like even though he's like a possibly grown man or grown woman, she's still referring to him as a grandbaby. But yeah, like if no one saw a man running away with a baby or a getaway car nearby running away. That again, that does come into play. Like what's going on here? But no one saw a baby. Like what are you saying here? Like what is this implying? I don't know if it's just a woman saying that Rebecca didn't have a child when she went to Big Five, I think is what the story's called, or is this referring to something else? Like maybe they saw this man hit her and run away, but they didn't see him have a baby. I don't know if we're ever going to get confirmation on what she directly means by this part of the title.
it's still not great, but
Wait, somebody died in the
yes,
family?
Rebecca's sibling's son, but he was an adult.
Unrelated.
Unrelated. It appears that
Rebecca's sibling, so her brother. Rebecca's brother died recently.
he overdosed on fentanyl. Now, as much as she's being very vocal about finding Emmanuel, it appears that she has updated her Facebook since his kidnapping and hasn't really posted much about Emmanuel. Furthermore, during all the media interviews, the grandma doesn't cry either. So Rebecca's not crying, Jake's not crying, and Rebecca's mom, Emmanuel's grandmother, is not crying. And according to On the Tira, Mary has never even met Emmanuel before in the past 7 months.
Wow.
Another part that's very contentious because after all of this, it's just like floating in the air. People have all these questions and they decide, now that we think about it, that black eye is weird. It's weird.
Yeah, that's literally the first thing I said when I saw it. And now we're just barely getting to that.
It's very prominent when she does the media interviews asking for help. One person comments, usually for an injury like that, the first 24 hours, your whole eye is kind of swollen shut. But you're not going to have this like brown outline. It's not going to look like a black eye. It's going to look just like a bee stung your eye. It's swollen.
Yeah, I was trying to say it doesn't look right. And that it could have been healing from like a long time ago. Like is something I said earlier at the very beginning. Which goes in line with the husband is abusive theory. That he had already hit her, something happened to the child, possibly died. They had to cover it up. And then this is like several days later. And that's why we just have like a little bit of bruising underneath the eye. And it's not like a clean, like a brand new shiner or whatever you want to say. A brand new black eye. Like it already seems like it's trying to heal. Even though that was within 24 hours, right? I think that interview was within 24 hours of this happening, and yet it's not swollen at all.
It's red. The bruising isn't going to show up for probably close to like 3 to 4 days. And it's not even just that. This color of bruising, this almost yellowish on the outer corners, that's near the process of healing.
Yeah. But is it a real bruise?
Yes. It is a real black eye.
Oh,
but it looks old.
It's been there?
Yeah. It does.
Again, like from the get-go, I was like, there's something wrong with the black eye.
It looks like it's been there for a minute. So far, everything has been suspicious, right? Everything is weird, but you could be like, well, body language. Well, maybe there's a language barrier. Well, maybe this, maybe that, right? Maybe it's a coincidence. The black eye is just medically not sound. A lot of medical professionals are saying that just doesn't make sense. Like if I saw that in the hospital, if a patient had that, I would never in a million years think that was from the past 24 hours. Like this is just not how the human body works. So if the black eye is not from the day of the alleged kidnapping, that would be the very first tangible piece of information to indicate that something is definitely not right. Additionally, there are some reports of witnesses who knew Rebecca who said that, actually, we've seen her with this black eye since August 3rd. She reported
August 3rd, this event took place on August 14th. It's 11 days. since that black eye.
Reported a kidnapping
Allegedly.
August 14th. But what does that mean? I mean, maybe she already had the black eye that was healing, and then she did get punched in the face and got knocked out, but it didn't cause another black eye? Or maybe she wasn't punched in the face, in the eye. Maybe she was punched somewhere else, and she just kind of correlated the two because she had pain in her eye. Maybe, right? It doesn't mean anything. So
She could have got hit in the jaw. Like, getting hit in the jaw would have made more sense because she already has a black eye, but you think the medical team would have already seen that? I don't think I've drawn anything, so we can oh, I have. Never mind. We're gonna have to like redo this. Let's just like real quick that this light actually is in the way. It's too bright. That's like the car. That's the car door. This is Rebecca. This is Hola man. Again, she spins this way. He spins that way. He swings in. It hits her jaw line that would knock her out. Like there's that part of the jaw on the side that it's like a nerve or whatever. If you get hit there, you get knocked out. So I don't know if he even needs to, if she even needs to spin around to try to look at him as he's swinging to get hit there. He could just get the hit. I think hitting someone from behind like that is, I feel like I've seen that multiple times. So I feel like the hit coming in here could hit her in the jaw, which could actually knock her out, like discombobulate her, and then she falls over. Kid gets snatched, and then there you go. But there's no bruising on the jawline or whatever. I don't know. I don't think the child, like, nobody knows if the child's dead or not, I think. Yeah, I don't know what the theory could be other than, like, whatever she's saying. Like, this guy, knocked her out, stole the baby, and kidnapped. I just think, like, if it was the husband, like, maybe the husband, because he's abusive, if we're going like that, one of the two theories that I'm talking about, because those are my theories, not anything that they've said in the, in this video, is that maybe he did it, or he's abusive. Like, here's, like, just off the top of my head, she's holding the baby, he gets mad at her, he slugs her in the face, she drops the child, it hits its head, it dies. She's Stockholmed from this abusive relationship. That, okay, we need to hide this body, get rid of the body. Husband's probably like, this is your fault, you need to fix this. So they hide the body, then they create this situation where she covers up for the husband, saying some Hola kid snatcher is the one who took the child. Right, in this, they think about this for a while, though. Even then, that's just if it's just all the husband. Since they apparently cased the joint a month earlier to see if the place had cameras, it kind of makes it okay, scoot that aside. That's just if this is just all the husband. It kind of makes it seem like they're both in on it. If they both looked at this place, saw it had cameras, because it kind of seems like this is kind of premeditated from a month ahead of time. Because I think that's what he said. Like, they went there a month before to see if they had cameras. I think she did it too. Like, she was the one who asked about the cameras, saying that she had been someone had broken into her car or something at some point, and she wanted to know if they had cameras. So I don't know. That could have just been a coincidence or what. But yeah, I mean, if we're trying to make a scenario, that's what I would go with, I guess, is he hit her, she drops the baby, baby dies, she's forced to cover it up because abuse, Stockholm, etc.
she was allegedly seen with a black eye August 3rd. There was a funeral held August 5th for another family member. Apparently she had the black eye then too, which she didn't have a manual at the funeral. Her excuse was, again, he hasn't been vaccinated yet, but it's just strange. A lot of people say, actually, we haven't seen a manual since the beginning of August. What's happening? There have been other unconfirmed reports from the alleged Big Five incident where an employee has allegedly come out to say she had that black eye prior to the incident. A manager asked her if she was okay, and she happily said that she walked into a wall and had a laugh. Also, that time when she came into the Big Five store was weeks before Emmanuel went missing, and she had no baby with her. Naturally, netizens start to begin to suspect that Jake is the one that gave her the black eye, and he must have done something to Emmanuel as well. Even in the interviews, people notice that not only are the couple not really comforting each other, even at times where they appear to be comforting each other, she is oriented away from Jake.
Sure. She is, we were talking about this earlier with their body language not being comforting. She is leaning this way, away from him. He's technically leaning, but he's probably like rocking back and forth, but right now he's leaning this way, but she's leaning away. They are holding hands though below this. back on like the other route where I think both of them did this. I don't know why they would both want to get rid of the child, but again, if this was premeditated even like a month before, they could have been like planning this. But like, why? What do you get out of planning to get rid of this child? You just didn't want to take care of him? Question mark. It can't just be because like they've already mentioned it. Like he has a lazy eye. Like, is there? I doubt there's like actually anything wrong with him besides that. Like, who cares? But it's like, oh, we don't want to take care of him potentially because there's something wrong with him, so we're just going to kill him off and pretend that someone else did it. Like, they already have so many kids already, right? She has 2, 3. I don't know if she has 2 kids with another person and then 1 with him, or 2 with him because Emmanuel and another girl. I don't know. I don't know how many children they have, but she has a lot of children. Well, lot in quotations. So I don't know if that, I don't think that would be the case. I don't know. Yeah, she is leaning away from him.
Rebecca is consistently turned away from him, and he doesn't really turn towards her either. Some people think that she appears to be in fear for him. So 10 days after Emmanuel was reported missing, he's still not found, and it's pretty evident that the authorities aren't really hopeful. The search starts focusing mainly on the mountain areas of the Freeway 60.
Though, back to if it's just purely she's scared of him, it would be in her best interest to lie as bad as possible so that they get caught. I feel like. So if there's something in like deep down, she's like, I like this, this is a bad guy. I'm afraid and I need to like lie for him. But if I lie poorly enough, they'll suspect us and then investigate him, and then I can just be like, okay, this is what actually happened, and not have to be afraid of him. I guess, I don't know, just throwing anything out there. So it's in her best interest if he did do something to lie as bad as possible so that they do get caught.
You can just imagine that there's not going to be a 7-month-old baby that is surviving 10 days out there.
Just playing both sides, like keeping him appeased, making it seem like she's sticking up for him, but then trying to get caught so that she can like get justice on him. I don't know.
It's like a mountainside. The police are focusing their search there. But more pertinent than that is that the police are not alone. Someone led them here to look for Emmanuel. And that someone...
Yeah, we're going to get into the thing where because this guy is in a outfit, right? A jail outfit. So we're saying that this guy did it. It kind of looks like the dad, right? Because someone confessed to this. So we're finally getting to the point where a man confessed to this crime. And if they didn't do it, why would they confess? We're just going to roll back so we can hear all that again.
On the mountain areas of the Freeway 60, you can just imagine that there's not going to be a 7-month-old baby that is surviving 10 days out there. It's like a mountainside. The police are focusing their search there. But more pertinent than that is that the police are not alone. Someone led them here to look for Emmanuel. And that someone is wearing an orange jumpsuit. Jake Harrow.
Okay.
Emmanuel's father,
That's what I assumed. That's who that was, because it looked like him. The haircut, the glasses, the beard. It looked like Jake.
Wearing an orange jumpsuit. Jake Harrow. Emmanuel's father, a new inmate at Larry D. Smith Correctional Facility, is out there looking for Emmanuel's body. Because 2 days before this search, the DA decides that they're going to have a press conference, and they say that they were looking for Emmanuel. They pulled the CCTV cameras from nearby stores because Big Five didn't have their own working cameras in the parking lot. There were other stores. There were stores across the street. They go through footage, and it's pretty instant. They think Rebecca is hiding something. They know that she knows more than she's letting on, and she knows that they know that. Once they get the surveillance footage, Rebecca stops cooperating. She instantly shuts up, stops cooperating, refuses to take a polygraph, which is like the least suspicious thing, I think, when you refuse to take a polygraph. But it is the most suspicious thing if you're the 7-month-old's parents. Yeah, I guess I'm conflicted because I am a staunch supporter of do not take a polygraph, do not talk to police without an attorney present. I probably would lawyer up in this situation, but I think I would take a polygraph because if a loved one is missing, the more time the police spend investigating me when I didn't do anything is less time that they're looking for my loved one.
Yeah, but like you said, right, you never want to,
But I think because of everything else, it's weird.
Exactly.
Forensic teams are seen going in and out of the Harrow house, and it's reported that police have found, quote, a substantial amount of blood inside the house. The San Bernardino County
Excuse me, what?
house, and it's reported that police have found, quote, a substantial amount of blood inside the house. The San Bernardino County Sheriff's Office makes a statement. Numerous interviews have been conducted. Search warrants have been served. Digital and electronic evidence has been collected and closely analyzed. Based on the evidence, investigators determined a kidnapping in Yucaipa did not occur 8 days after Emmanuel was reported missing.
When Rebecca Haro reported that her son had been kidnapped, folks, within 24 hours through video surveillance, we found inconsistencies in Rebecca's statement.
Rebecca and Jake are arrested for Emmanuel's murder.
Okay, both of them arrested. Is it just gonna be him though?
Jake Mitchell Haro and Rebecca Renee Haro are charged with willfully and unlawfully murdering their baby Emmanuel with malice.
Okay, with malice. Though, how did it go down? Wait, I was assuming there was gonna be no resolution to this, but no. We're just already arresting both of them. I did say early on, like when she said someone admitted to it in jail, to someone who was undercover in the jail with them, I thought it was Rebecca saying, like Rebecca would have been the one admitting to it, but I'm guessing maybe Jake admitted to it, or maybe it is still Rebecca. I guess we'll get to that.
With the Riverside DA, Mike Hestron, saying that they do not believe Emmanuel is alive. So not only do they think that he is dead, but that he suffered prolonged abuse prior to his death. The filing in this case reflects our belief that baby Emmanuel was the victim of child abuse over time, and that eventually, because of the abuse, he succumbed to his injuries. There are also unconfirmed reports that Rebecca and Jake had gotten rid of all of Emmanuel's clothes and photos of him, because when they conducted that search warrant, that was the report that started coming out. They had no clothes of Emmanuel. They had no photos of Emmanuel inside that house. It's like he never even existed, which is pretty ballsy, because either they hate being confronted with what they've allegedly done, or they're genuinely just ready to move on. October 12th, 2018.
Okay. A billion years before this happened, because isn't this like this year? So we are like 7 years ago.
This is 7 years ago, before Emmanuel goes missing, before he was even born. Jake goes to the police with an iPad. It's about his second wife, Vanessa. Jake has been married 3 times. The first wife served restraining orders on him. The second wife, he gets arrested with. The third wife is Rebecca. He also gets arrested with her. But he's saying, hey, something really bad happened to my second wife, Vanessa. He sits down with the investigators and he's like showing them this iPad. My sister actually was the one to find this. She picked it up and was going to Google something, but it was already open on a search tab. And he shows the investigators the iPad. And sure enough, at 1:19 a.m., there's a search that, the search is weird. The only ones that have access to this iPad are Jake and his wife, Vanessa. This Google search obviously wasn't made by him. He's like, I did not touch this iPad at 1:19 a.m. So obviously it must have been Vanessa. And the police are asking him, do you think Vanessa is capable of this Google search and all of this? And he's like, if you had asked me 8 years ago, 8 months ago, I would have said no, but now I think she's capable. The Google search on the iPad reads, is it hard to feed an infant with fractured ribs?
What?
Okay.
Okay, implying, obviously, abuse. So has he been abusing the children from the get-go?
October 12th, 2018, a medically unsound incident takes place at Jake's house. Jake and Vanessa are taking care of their young infant daughter who happens to be sick. She's 10 weeks old, so she's tiny. This is a little baby girl. We're going to call her Baby A. In less than 24 hours, this baby is going to go from having a fever and being sick to being in the emergency room with an acute fracture of the posterior left fifth rib, healing fractures of almost all of her ribs, a skull fracture, brain hemorrhaging, significant soft tissue swelling in the neck, and a healing tibia fracture on the right leg. The doctors noticed that this little baby had suffered from at least 2 seizures, which would have been incredibly painful, and she was having difficulty breathing.
And I was going to pin it on the wife, who's probably like the ex-wife at this point.
When the couple, Jake and Vanessa, get to the hospital, Jake's whole explanation for this would statistically rival the chances of going on a flight to Montana, but then getting sucked into a black hole in space and spit back out on the set of Barbie. Like, it's just crazy. His explanation for all these injuries is, well, you know that like middle divider in the kitchen sink? You know how the kitchen sink?
Okay, before we even get, are we about to say someone was holding him? I'm assuming he's going to throw the wife on the bus. The wife was holding the baby by the sink, possibly with one hand. Baby slips, falls out of her hands, and because we said the ribs are broken, right? The baby's ribs falls down on the divider, and then thus you end up with it kind of bending around like that, and that's how the ribs broke or got wounded. But I'm pretty sure it was more than just that, because they said some of the ribs were healing. So why would ribs already be healing if this is an event that just happens, right? Because we're saying actually, we could just do this. Because if we're saying this is what happens to the child, then why does it already have ribs that are healing from a potential prior event? How many times has this child fallen onto the sink divider, right?
There's a middle divider.
Yeah, like the ribs there, head falls into the sink, I guess, hits its head because the head's swelling, but could you cause that much brain damage from a woman or I guess man? I guess because depending on their height, like so, whoever's height's like I don't know. Obviously not. Like they're just making something up, but this is like I feel like no one would really believe this, right? But someone had to, I guess, if no one got in trouble for this event.
Divider, and then you got one side of the sink and then the other side of the sink.
Yeah.
Well, the baby fell onto that divider chest first. So he decided because his daughter was sick, he was going to give her a bath in the kitchen sink. At one point, he was holding her up.
Okay, so he's actually saying he did this. He was doing this in the sink. Yeah, like they already know this guy has been doing this for a long time, and he's not even like suspect number one. Well, outside of like people online, but the people online didn't know that he was abusive. It's just you can make that assumption. Again, I already made the assumption at the very beginning that that could be a scenario where he's just like an abusive situation.
To rinse the soap from her, and she slips out of his hands, falls onto that middle divider, and her chest hits that center. He didn't see any major injuries. She seemed fine. It was a little slip and fall here and there. What's that to worry about for a 10-week-old?
So he's saying like, oh, whoops, she fell out of my, well, literally what I thought he was going to say, like she fell out of my hands, hit the divider, and it's like, oh, she's fine. Like, okay. He's tall, question mark, which is what I was trying to get at. Or like it depends on how like tall they are. So he's kind of tall, so that's a further fall, which means more damage. If we were even going to believe this to begin with, and it wasn't from abuse.
He does nothing. Vanessa gets.
Yeah, they're also assuming that like she's fine, but why would you already know that they have fractured ribs if it was Googled?
Seemed fine. It was a little slip and fall here and there. What's that to worry about for a 10-week-old? He does nothing. Vanessa gets home. He says nothing. It's not until the middle of the night Vanessa is checking up on their daughter and she starts shaking Jake awake because, hurry, feel her back. Something's weird. Sure enough, he feels her back, this 10-week-old, and he feels a crackling noise like popcorn. Jake's like, I never felt.
What? What do you mean? Crackling spine?
This 10-week-old, and he feels a crackling noise like popcorn. Jake's like, I never felt that all day, so it must have been Vanessa that did something. And look at this iPad search. She was trying to feed her with fractured ribs. According to court documentation, the declaration in support of the arrest warrant, the doctor treating the little girl clearly has a difference in opinion from Jake with no medical degree. She states, findings of intracranial hemorrhaging are consistent with acceleration-deceleration forces of the head with traumatic stress on the neck. The skull fracture is consistent with impact to the head. Multiple rib fractures are typically caused by a squeezing mechanism of the chest. The healing tibial fracture is likely secondary to a traumatic twisting mechanism. Effectively stating, the history of a short fall onto the kitchen sink does not explain her extensive and severe head trauma or her multiple rib fractures. Those are indicative of abuse, head trauma, and physical abuse and nutritional neglect.
Okay, so then how's this guy not in trouble then 7 years ago? Which him being in trouble would have saved, well, I guess it wouldn't have saved it wouldn't have saved Emmanuel, because if he was arrested and in jail, he wouldn't have gotten with Rebecca and the child wouldn't have been born to begin with. But still.
Jake Haro is arrested for willful child cruelty and pleads.
Okay, so he does get in trouble. So he's already gotten in trouble. And it's considered a felony, right? It says felony down there.
Guilty, along with his wife. This is very interesting because he was not offered a plea deal. You can plead guilty without having a plea deal.
Right.
Okay, so when you're offered a plea deal, your attorney are typically working with the prosecutors and you're trying to get the most advantageous plea deal. You're trying to get, okay, the prosecutors are going to tell the judge, we recommend this sentencing, and the judge will usually follow that. When you just plead guilty without a plea deal, it's just all up to the judge. The judge gets to do whatever he freaking wants to Jake and his then wife, Vanessa, the little girl's parents. And in a decision that confuses people, as much as they want to... you want to force feed the criminal justice system like 5 gallons of bleach because Jake pleads guilty and he is given 180 days in a work release program. So not even.
Okay, so this community service. You nearly killed your child? 100 days of community service.
Jail or prison. He's given a suspended 4-year sentence meaning he doesn't have to be in prison, and ordered to attend a child abuser treatment program and like 20 hours of community service.
So you got a slap on the wrist.
Not even a slap on the wrist. I feel like that, I don't even know how you categorize that. You don't even, like, I think he spent 1 day in jail.
Wow. Like, that's not normal for these type of, so what the hell is going on?
And I'm always a little confused by cases like this because, I mean, sure, I think that we can all agree we are kind of a diabolical nation. We tend to make everything political. Basic human rights are also political. Sometimes judges will make some heinous decisions because that's how they align themselves politically. Or they're friends with lots of rich people and these rich people are doing some crazy things and they want to protect those rich people. However, I was under the impression that child abusers, especially... And this is like weird to say because, I mean, we all know that people protect the wealthy. So if you've got a wealthy child abuser, you have this nerve-wracking feeling of like, okay, they might get away with it.
Right.
Yeah, but I don't think they're wealthy, so I feel like that's not like a situation that's happening here. They look like normal people.
What is this one all about?
Exactly. I feel like
who are they protecting?
Jake Harrow is a free communal soccer ball left at the park that everyone gets to kick around free of charge. And as a judge, if you throw the book at this random child abuser, I cannot imagine anything but praise coming the judge's way. Who would object? It's odd behavior that I cannot relate to. Even the prosecutor told the judge to please reconsider and stated to the judge that they firmly believe this is a case that deserves a lengthy prison sentence. I don't believe it should be controversial anymore to petition that every judge not be allowed to use honorable in their title because this is not honorable. And just to piss everyone off more, Jake even later comments on the sentencing for this that he felt it was, quote, fair. Yeah.
Fair for abusing your child, sure.
Wow. What about the ex-wife? Same thing?
Same thing. Now, Baby A's family have given news networks consent to share these photos, and as a warning for what Jake Harrow...
Wait, what do you mean? What do you mean consent? Okay, I'm gonna blur the... Not blur, but like turn the video off just in case something here is like bad. I'm guessing we're not gonna show like Emmanuel's body, but if so, like I need to like... I'm gonna black this. I'm not gonna get in trouble for that. But, or show that. Okay, rolling back to that, it's weird that that Jake and the wife didn't throw each other under the bus for this situation. Because he actually, well, he kind of was trying to throw her under the bus with talking about the iPad thing, but he said he dropped her. Like, he could have easily said, my wife dropped the child in the sink. But no, he actually said that he did it, which is weird. And the only thing that's really, like, violent against, well, not violent, but, like, antagonistic against a wife is him bringing the iPad of her searching the broken ribs thing. So I don't know what's going on there and why they didn't, like, rat on each other. I don't know.
is capable of doing. She is just...
Okay, so it's just, yeah, I should have, like, turned that off sooner. It's just the child, like, they're okay. Like, this is the child that's okay. It's not Emmanuel.
She's 10 weeks old in these photos. This is after the abuse. She's in the hospital. She's just like hooked up to machines. And I think
like the warning wasn't fast enough. I figured like she'd be like, okay, I'm going to show it now, but no, she just like went into it.
It's always hard to see children in hospitals because the machines just look so abnormally big compared to their tiny little bodies.
It's not on right now, but I'm just going to keep her. So who knows when she's going to put it back on the screen.
And one of Vanessa's cousins, so Vanessa is the mother of baby A and the second wife. One of Vanessa's cousins ends up adopting baby A and another son that they had together. And she is raising them as her own, which hasn't been easy. The son has fetal alcohol syndrome, which means Vanessa was drinking throughout the entirety of her pregnancy for actually both of her children. However, it did not seem that baby A had fetal alcohol syndrome, but I guess it's something netizens are wondering. But baby A is older now. She's 7 years old. She is blind. She is unable to walk. She's unable to talk or swallow due to damage from being strangulated at that young of an age.
You're kidding me. These are all from the injury?
Yeah. She only has 3% of her brain function. She needs full round-the-clock care for the rest of her life. She uses a feeding tube. I mean, Jake nearly killed this baby. And
yet, this guy didn't go to jail forever and wasn't even well, people were suspicious of him from the get-go, but not because they knew about his history. What were the police doing with his history before this then? Though, I mean, it's only been a month, so I can't be like, how do they not know this? Since in less than a month, these two are already in jail. So actually, maybe the police were like right on the ball and did their job immediately. Because I don't know exactly when they got arrested, but it's only been a month and they're already arrested. So
they let him go. So then he has 2 more babies with Rebecca. And
Yeah, the initial judge just letting him go, letting him and Vanessa just go. Like, hello?
baby. And they let him go. So then he has 2 more babies with Rebecca. And it seems like he killed Emmanuel. Vanessa's cousin, since Jake and Vanessa can't and should not take care of baby A, she decides that she's going to do it. So she takes them and she's been taking care of them. And she's actually just taken in a third of Jake's children. So
4 years and 10 days later, our adoption is finalized. So you do have, like, the opposite, right? You have a couple who is actually taking care of all the people that they were abusing, though. So at least there's, like, that glimmer in the darkness, right?
So Vanessa is the second wife.
Mm-hmm.
The 2 kids that Vanessa's cousin has taken are Vanessa's 2 kids.
Yeah, that's her cousin's kids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But now the 2-year-old daughter that Rebecca and Jake Haro had didn't have anywhere to go. And so she's taken them in too. Yeah.
Wow.
And when she first saw interviews of Rebecca and Jake Haro talking about how Emmanuel was kidnapped, she immediately just had a very bad feeling that this story just doesn't make sense. I don't even know how Jake is allowed to have children, let alone be free, but let alone have children in his care after nearly killing his daughter and pleading guilty to it. So now both Rebecca and Jake have been arrested for murder with malice, and netizens suspect that the 2 will eventually turn on each other, probably Jake first.
Okay, so they haven't done it yet. But again, him and Vanessa didn't turn on each other. It didn't seem. So is Rebecca going to do the same thing and not turn on him? Yeah, we can just throw him fully under the bus and say, you know, this is him full way, and he's just Stockholming people into, like, agreeing with him and, like, being scared of him. But Rebecca did kind of go with it, but still. Yeah, like, the judge just letting him get away with it at the beginning doesn't make any sense.
Because that seems like what he was trying to do with Vanessa in 2018.
But you say that Jake came out of the prison to guide them to search?
Yes, so that was all over the news, and that's why people were like, this is indicative that he's going to turn on Rebecca. He's working with the police. We don't see Rebecca out there. So it seems like he's trying to cooperate to make it throw this all on Rebecca.
Yeah.
That was the initial feeling. That is all. It gets weird. People think that they're playing mind games right now.
Okay. So you're saying they didn't find the baby?
No, not yet. To this day.
Oh, so he came out to say, hey, let me show you guys?
Well, okay, it's very unclear of why they ended up at this place, but we do know that on the side of Freeway 60, they're looking for baby Emmanuel with the police and with Jake. He's in his prison orange jumpsuit and they're looking. We don't know if because police saw their cell phone records and were like, why were you here for so long? We don't know if it's Jake being like, oh, let me take you where I left his body and leading them on a goose chase. We don't know.
Okay, so we just saw them outside.
Yes.
That's all.
And they were searching for quite a bit of time. And this is not the only strange thing that's happening within this family. So Jake has previous child abuse convictions. It just, if hell has a basement, Rebecca and Jake and some of Rebecca's family all live there, because Rebecca is not the first in her family to get arrested for murder.
What? Okay, so we have hereditary murder here. Hello?
Blood spatter is very difficult to get out of your clothes. You can't put it in the washer. You could wash your clothes 10 times and it's not going to get the DNA out of it. The DNA and even evidence of the iron from the blood, it almost embeds itself into the tiny microscopic fiber elements of a shirt. And I don't care if you wash it on the sanitize cycle 10 times, most likely the police are going to be able to find out that there was blood on this.
Really? Even with bleach?
Yeah.
Wow.
And that's why some killers do some very weird things to try and minimize blood splatter. Some will straight up wear hazmat suits, rain ponchos, or in some cases, a shower curtain. Whoever did this, whoever killed Jaylen, covered their body with a shower curtain to minimize the
Yeah, I figured she was saying someone was going to wear a curtain for this.
blood spatter. Rebecca's brother, James, has a girlfriend named Jaylen who was found deceased in their bathtub from a gunshot wound. He would tell authorities that she self-exited and he didn't know because he was asleep.
Mm. Now, which brother is this? How many brothers does she have? Like, does she have multiple brothers or what? Because I'm pretty sure she said Rebecca's brother OD'd on, narcotics earlier. So is this a different brother? Or did the brother that OD'd commit this crime, got away with it, and then OD'd? Like, there's context there that needs to be added.
He would be arrested for her murder and charged, convicted, and he is now serving 52 life in prison for murder. And
Okay, so no, he's in jail. So her other brother must have, a second brother must have OD'd then.
Who was supporting him throughout this entire case? His mom, Mary, the same grandma that's supporting Rebecca. She told a news outlet, I know my son is innocent and I will continue to fight for him. There's new evidence. There's a lot of new evidence. We're going to fight to get him a new trial. We're going to appeal the conviction. We're not going to stop. She says there should be an in-depth look into the victim's mental health records, which...
What?
Because they're trying to argue that it was a self-exit.
So where did the shower curtain came from? You're saying?
He shot her while covering himself with the shower curtain to not get blood spatter on his clothes.
Oh, that was proven in the court, you're
Yeah.
saying? Okay.
And it's crazy because other things that were proven in court is that, I mean, I think everyone deals with negative feelings and maybe sadness, but she texted her family that James had, quote, gone psycho on her, smashing the phone and screaming at her. And this is the day before she's found dead. She tells her friend around that same time that James was increasingly getting violent and erratic. At one point, he pulled his pistol out of the safe, which scared the shit out of her. But nevertheless, Mary, the mother, she goes on to create a Facebook page, something along the lines of James is innocent, free James, support James. And there's a very specific post on there that reads, Jalen suffered from a chronic condition that made it too painful for her to have intercourse. In fact, in their almost 5 years together, James and
Why are we even going there?
from a chronic condition that made it too painful for her to have intercourse. In fact, in their almost 5 years together, James and Jalen only had intercourse one time. James accepted Jalen's condition, saying that there were other ways that they could engage in sexual intimacy. According to Jalen, she was being treated for the condition to reduce pain and discomfort. However, the treatment never improved the condition to the degree where she could tolerate intercourse. Jalen expressed concern that she would never be able to conceive and could not provide a mate with children. The doubts Jalen must have had, the depression that a partner other than James would ever tolerate, let alone accept such sexual dysfunction. She must have had serious doubts about her romantic possibilities, and establishing other intimate relationships was never brought up at the trial. The only comments made were the condition was under control and Jalen was never depressed about it.
I feel like this is just like creating some sort of nonsense. Well, this could, like, she could have this condition, but like, this is, why are you saying this on, like, in public? You're just like saying this private thing about this woman in public to try to make it seem like she did this to herself so you can get your son. 'Cause is the mom in control of this? Get your son off the hook?
So they're trying to argue, obviously she self-exited because she was very depressed and she was depressed because of this. But you know who was so sweet and accepted her? James. Jamie boy.
This mom is out of her mind.
Yeah, and it's just like a profoundly idiotic take.
Again, there's like, I mentioned before, there's like two kinds of parents. Like, ones will, if like their child does something bad, will accept that they need to be punished, or the other kind that will, even if they are the reincarnation of H, they will protect them for, like, to the ends of the earth, no matter what. It doesn't matter what they do.
And I mean, I just don't really have much to comment. I mean, nevertheless, the elevator does not go all the way up, but the mouth keeps talking. James' version of events is, I'd fallen asleep. My girlfriend must have gotten into the bathtub and self-exited while I was asleep. I did, in fact, hear some noise, but I thought it was probably coming from the air conditioner.
Really, a gunshot echoing in the house is just the air conditioner.
Then he notices that his girlfriend is not in bed with him, so he starts getting up and searching, and he doesn't find her for, he was searching for about 10, 20 minutes? Yeah, which sounds maybe plausible if you reside inside of the Mall of America or, I don't know, fucking Disney World, but not if you reside in a 430 square foot apartment where from the bed you get a clear and direct view into the bathroom. Ultimately, James was found guilty and sentenced to 50 years to life. But even at the sentencing, he was still sticking to his story. He said, everything is my fault. You know what that everything is? My alcoholism. Because of my alcoholism, I couldn't see that she was depressed. I don't think violence is the answer, but I do think that sometimes making some very assertive contact, skin to skin, with your fist in somebody's face is maybe acceptable. Additionally, netizens dig up information on Jake's brother, who passed away in 2021, in Rebecca and Jay Carl's house. The couple were investigated by law enforcement, but they did not file any charges. So there's lots of just...
What is...
We go back because
be acceptable. Additionally, netizens dig up information on Jake's brother, who passed away in 2021, in Rebecca and Jay Carl's house. The couple were...
okay, so Jake's brother died in the couple's house. I don't know if this is the guy who OD'd. I thought this was Rebecca's brother, but if this is Jake's brother who OD'd, I don't know. But do we not know how he died? How did this guy die?
Were investigated by law enforcement, but they did not file any charges. So there's lots of just lots of crime, lots of death around both sides of the family. Adding a bit more messiness into everything is after Emmanuel is reported missing, before they're arrested, Jake's first wife files a restraining order on Jake. Some believe that this is to protect her son that she has with Jake, to protect herself. Others speculate that she filed this restraining order and then went to the police to say there was no football, because that's the son that was playing football that needed a mouth guard.
Oh, right. Okay. Wow.
So what now? Both parents are in jail. Emmanuel has yet to be found. The first wife has filed a restraining order. The second wife is not as relevant in the sense of, I mean, she doesn't have custody of any of her kids that she shares with Jake Caro, rightfully.
I mean, she also possibly was in on hurting that one girl who is crippled for life.
And Rebecca and Jake are in jail, and they're weirdly giving interviews. Rebecca says that she knew about Jake's child cruelty case, but still married him and tried to, I don't know, she tried to make it seem like their relationship was okay by saying it was, quote, wonderful. And that
Trying to say she tried to fix him, quote unquote.
he treats her and her 16-year-old daughter from a previous relationship really well. They have 2 kids together. Well, they did, but
Again, what is with the protection between the two? Because, again, Vanessa and Jake didn't throw each other under the bus. And now in this situation, again, Rebecca and Jake aren't throwing each other under the bus. Why is there never any fighting between the two? There's no way he's just so intimidating that these women just won't throw him under the bus. But why doesn't he throw them under the bus? Where's this weird loyalty? Like, if we go to jail, we go to jail together. Even if, like, one party didn't do it.
you know, she says he was a good dad. He would never hurt a baby, except when he nearly killed his
Yeah.
other baby that she knew about.
You know, except when he did, in fact, almost, well, not almost, but like almost infanticide, literally did it already in his lifetime. And yet you're like, oh, he would never do that. Except for the time that he did do that.
Before marrying him and then having 2 babies with him. Rebecca makes netizens want to slam their head against a wall. I feel like stupidity spares no age. It knows no bounds, even inside prison walls. However, it is infuriating that at her grown age of 41, she should have known better. Anyone should have known better than to put their kids in the direct line of danger by marrying this guy or even having kids with this guy. Even his 2-year-old daughter that was taken from his care during this whole incident, Jake tries to make it seem like everyone around him is abusive and he's just the scapegoat. He says in a jailhouse interview that when his daughter was taken from his custody, that she did not have a bruise on her, but he went to visit her later at a facility. So the daughter was taken to a facility initially before Vanessa's cousin stepped in, and he was able to visit this facility before he was arrested. So she was taken early on. He went to visit her at the facility, and he says, quote, she looked like she got hit by a truck and then reversed and ran over again. And people are like, okay, this is your way of trying to cover up that you probably did that to your 2-year-old daughter. Oh, some family members of Rebecca's side reportedly didn't even know that they had kids. They're like, I didn't even know that your kid was missing because I didn't even know you had a kid, including Rebecca's ex-husband, whom she shares 2 kids with. He didn't even know that Emmanuel existed. And this is someone that she shares 2 kids with, and they're both minors at this point. So technically, you're supposed to be co-parenting. You're supposed to kind of be somewhat present in each other's lives because of those children. It's very strange. There are some reports and speculations that the couple wanted to get rid of Emmanuel because they were embarrassed of him. A lot of
Is this what I said earlier? Because I did create the scenario of like them wanting to get rid of him because of his eye, and possibly his eye is like that because there's something wrong with him, and thus they wanted to get rid of him because they didn't want to take care of him. Like, I did throw that in the air, but is that actually correct? Question mark.
netizens have noticed a pattern that most pictures of Emmanuel, none of them are taken from the front of his face. They're all from the side. And it seems like they're trying to cover up the fact that he might potentially be cross-eyed, is how a lot of people that knew him spoke about his condition. And cross-eyed becomes a new thing because a lot of netizens have connected being cross-eyed with shaken baby syndrome. Shaken baby syndrome it's when a baby is violently shaken. They will
It's self-explanatory.
suffer severe brain injuries. It's a severe form of abuse. I believe 1 in 3 babies that are killed is due to shaken baby syndrome. So people think that perhaps he had shaken baby syndrome, which caused the cross-eyedness. Some people actually believe that he was blind, which is what happened to baby A after her injuries, because in a lot of the pictures, it almost looks like he's peering down almost, which people have stated that when they had children who were visually impaired, certain parts of their eyes would let in more light, and so they would kind of peer a certain way. And all of the pictures are taken of baby Emmanuel from the side. There are debates on whether or not they were embarrassed by that and they didn't like that. And maybe Jake himself didn't like that and never connected with his own child because of that and decided to just... The DA is asked about that. And he responds, I can't speculate. I'll repeat what I already said. We believe that Emmanuel was severely abused over a period of time. So he can't say if he had shaken baby syndrome. But both parents would have been aware of that abuse. Which, with all of this, Rebecca's saying, no, this is not true. I will not give up. I will not give up on my baby. I want to be out there looking for my baby. This is her statement from jail. When she's asked about the fact that Big Five employees stated that she came in to ask whether or not they had cameras in the parking lot, she just reportedly shook her head side to side. But there's definitely some strange energy. After Jake is seen cooperating with the police in his orange...
Are we about to get a twist here? Question mark? Is it because there very well could just be some sort of Hola kid snatcher out there.
Jumpsuit off the side of the freeway. Rebecca releases a jailhouse statement, and then there's all these reports that Jake is going to throw Rebecca under the bus, and then he finally does a jailhouse interview where he is very supportive of Rebecca.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, what is with this? Why did Vanessa and Jake just accept their sentencing? Why are Rebecca and now Jake again just cooperating with each other? Why did Vanessa and Jake cooperate with each other and didn't throw each other under the bus? And why is it not happening again? What is with this loyalty? Sure, it's your wife/husband, but if your husband infanticide your child, why would you not throw him under the bus? Even if you did it together, why wouldn't you try to throw all the blame on the other person instead of being like, oh, we're both innocent? I guess if you try to say like we're both innocent, then you could try to make the argument of, it's like it's better that way. If one party isn't innocent and the other is, well then it kind of makes you complacent in them doing these bad thing. So it's better if just you okay and not one bad, one good. But again, it's so weird. This is 2 times it's weird because it's happening multiple times. Why are they always loyal to Jake? The internet is like goofing up there. Luckily, we're almost done.
People think he's playing mind games because for so long, so many weird things were happening. Not only was he cooperating with the police, but he lawyers up. And this lawyer is the same lawyer that he used when he almost killed his daughter, baby A. But this lawyer argues that he doesn't know why the police are saying that the Haro couple have stopped cooperating. He said, the Haro couple have voluntarily turned over all of their electronic devices, including the passwords. I think that's something huge that nobody has been made aware of. The attorney tells News Nation, I don't know where the statement that they stopped cooperating came from. I spoke with the detectives yesterday, offered for Jake to continue speaking with them, have not been made aware of any request today to speak with Jake. I don't represent Rebecca. That needs to be very clear. But I have not been asked to produce Jake.
I have personally spent time with Jake and have seen the emotions in his face. He is not in any way running, hiding, or doing anything to exhibit any behaviors of somebody that is trying to be deceptive in this case.
People did not like that. People did not like that at all. And I don't know why this attorney is so passionate. Like, for what? He tells News Nation, Jake wants to cooperate. Jake doesn't like the fact that nobody's listening. Yeah, well, nobody gives a fuck about what Jake likes. Some netizens argue that they don't like the fact that Jake is still breathing, but I guess we all have our own interests and dislikes. The attorney continues to tell News Nation, even yourself, it sounds like you guys have already made up your minds. News Nation brings up Rebecca and Jake's weird interview, and the attorney just says, I saw the videos like anybody else. I can't speak for Rebecca. I can tell you that she doesn't have a master's degree, bachelor's degree, or any other degree in public speaking, so I can't speak as to that. Same thing for Jake. But it's interesting because he keeps saying, I don't represent Rebecca. I don't represent Rebecca. And it's also interesting because at one point he says something along the lines of the day of the alleged kidnapping.
Alleged? I don't know if we're just using like lingo there and he has to use that kind of lingo or not. But yeah, the fact that he keeps saying he doesn't represent Rebecca is fishy. If it keeps a escape route to throw her under the bus if they need to come to that, even though they currently aren't doing that.
Mm-hmm.
Which usually attorneys representing clients won't throw in alleged when they're talking about their client's version of events.
Okay, right.
So that's strange. But I think with all the talk that Jake was going to turn on Rebecca, Jake finally does a jailhouse interview where he doesn't really say much at all. I think the most enlightening but unsurprising part of this interview is Jake believes that the authorities are biased. They see his child cruelty conviction from 2023, in which he, his own mouth, pled guilty to, and they assume that he's capable of doing something bad to Emmanuel. They unfairly assume that. He also says that he didn't ever hurt baby A. He says, I pled guilty because I didn't have the money to go to trial. The judge said nobody would believe my side of the story. Somehow they magically convinced me to take this damn plea deal, which again, there was no plea deal. And again, yes, money, I think, runs the court system, but you would have a public defender. The judge knows I didn't do it. They're just railroading me. I was the fall guy. He also further states, Rebecca is innocent. The media is killing her. She is a beautiful woman and she loves her children. He expresses very deep disappointment that the public has not raised enough money to pay for Rebecca's bail. He also states that he did see Rebecca in the courtroom. He had gotten off the elevator. He tried to shout to her, I love you, but quote, the deputy shoved me to the ground. He launched me like I was a rag doll. And he starts complaining about how he re-injured his shoulder because of that. And at the very end, he says if he could talk to Emmanuel, he would say, quote, I love you, buddy. That's it. Now, there are rumors that in jail, Jake confessed to murdering Emmanuel.
Yeah, there comes the alleged confession that we heard at the very beginning. But she's saying alleged, so who knows if that actually happens.
That there was a Perkins operation. So a Perkins operation is if you are charged with a crime but not yet convicted, so you're about to go to trial, you're in your little jail cell and you get a new cellmate. The cellmate is pissed off because he's also in jail for the 5th time. He's ranting to you. He's giving you little tidbits on what's the best food in jail. And then suddenly you're opening up and you're like, you know what? The cops think I fucking killed him. And guess what? I did. Turns out the person you're talking to is an undercover cop. That's a Perkins operation. So there were heavy reports, mainly coming from a major news reporter from News Nation, that this was the situation. However, with the recent press conference held by the DA's office, they said that's absolutely not true. This never happened.
Okay, so it didn't happen. I mean, if the police are saying that didn't happen, well then it didn't happen.
But
right?
there was no Perkins operation. He did not confess. There was no confession. You've got it wrong and you need to stop.
Yeah, because like why would they deny that it happened? Like why would they be like, yep, we got him? You know, why would they be like that? So I feel like that didn't happen. If the cops was like, no, we didn't get it. We didn't catch him saying anything. We're still trying to do it. I don't know. And there's some reasons I guess you would want to do that, but I guess we can just take them at face value for now.
Not believing social media. So there's just a lot of unconfirmed reports and just a lot of unanswered questions, and one of them still being, where is baby Emmanuel?
Yeah, because they haven't actually found him.
There's going to be a court arraignment, I believe September 4th, so probably around the time that you see this. I'm going to leave a pinned comment about what happens, but this is usually when the judge formally reads their charges and they will talk about their pleas. They will go through maybe some discussion about discovery, but that's about it. It's not going to be like the most enlightening court hearing or anything of that sort. I don't think we're going to get answers, but that is where we are. What are your thoughts on this case? Let me know in the comments and stay safe. I will see you in the next one.
So that is the end of that. Again, since it only happened like less than a month ago, we're not going to get full closure, but more closure than I thought, where they're actually in jail, right? Though, I guess, who knows how many years from now we're going to find out, like, oh, they went to jail for X amount of years, or miraculously, it's like, oh, they somehow didn't do it. Like, there's a crazy thread there of, like, Vanessa was the one who actually harms the original daughter, but like somehow, like this is crazy, in outer space, a million galaxies away, devil's advocate, where Vanessa is the one who hurt the child. Even they did it together, so possibly like she did have a hand in it, because like why else would she say yeah she did it instead of saying no it was just him? But like Vanessa did it, wounded their daughter, and Jake is just somehow so loyal, such a saint, that he took the hit with her, but didn't get in trouble. And then now with a new woman, maybe he just unfortunately has a type of being with abusive women, though she's the one with the black eye, so that's not true. Again, this is like outer space devil's advocate, that Rebecca, again, harmed the child, but Jake, once again, is staying loyal to her and not throwing her under the bus and taking the hit with her. And that's why in multiple scenarios with different women, they don't turn on each other. Because like it doesn't make sense for them not to turn on each other if someone didn't do it. Or even if they did do it together, to try to make it seem like they didn't do it and make the other person do it. So that is like the craziest, wildest devil's advocate scenario I could like think of. It's like he actually hasn't done it multiple times. It's the women that he's been with, but he just refuses to snitch, if you will, on them. Question mark. But again, it's probably just him. Like from the get-go, I was like, he probably abuses this woman and he killed her and whatnot, but who knows if they did it together or not. Still have to wait on what 100% happened, I guess. We'll see in who knows how many years. Maybe she'll do a new video on this in a few years and we'll know like what really happened. But again, this happened like less than a month ago, so it's going to take a while to get the full story. But yep, that was that. Don't know what we're going to do tomorrow. Usually I am on the every other day kind of thing right now. We're not going to get like multiple like Chinaverse videos together in a row until the end of the month, like I said. So it'll be a while before we have a lot of long videos back to back, but we'll see what we do tomorrow. Might be nothing, might be Dark Asia, might be scary videos, like lame scary videos for fun. Who knows? But yeah, guys, thanks for watching. Remember to buy my stickers, if think about becoming a member, subscribe if you haven't subscribed, because we're working on watch time and subscribers, and don't forget we have, well, not that yet, because I can't talk about that yet, because I keep trying not to talk about the throne, because I'm moving, and I don't want anything going to a place that's going to be destroyed. So don't go to the throne. But yep, shout out to the members, EmmyStarr, RaleyDrew, and alexgkiller 880. But yeah, guys, thanks for watching. Tune into the next episode. Like, subscribe, comment, and hype. You know the deal. See ya.